And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live in the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet, all over social media, all over the mainstream media, all over everywhere. And where do we begin? Shout out to Southwest Airlines. Well, not the company itself, obviously. Shout out to the air traffic control. Shout out to the pilots, the flight attendants, the baggage claim, everyone that did the alleged quote-unquote wink-wink sick-out over the weekend that caused 28% of Southwest Airlines flights to get canceled, delayed, diverted, or whatever they want to say. They're talking about there's no evidence of some kind of coordinated thing to walk out, but I can't tell. If there was no evidence, I mean, the lack of evidence looks just like evidence anyway. We'll talk about that in the show. Also, the Texas school shooter, this person shot up a school, shot 4 people, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 people in the school with a gun that he brought and was somehow able to get out on bond. But I was told that if you are a black school shooter, you would never come home, you'd never get out, all this and that. That does not appear to be the case. It looks like if you are a black school shooter, you might get, lenient treatment. We'll talk about both of those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And again, I thank y'all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you enjoyed what you have heard thus far, if you enjoyed the show, please give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you're listening on your favorite audio streaming platform, please give me a 5-star rating, a review, whatever you can. I most certainly would appreciate that. And we got a whole lot to talk about. We're talking about Southwest, the Texas shooter, John Gruden resigning as a head football coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, Kyrie Irving refusing to get the shot. So for now, he's indefinitely suspended from the team without his full pay. He'll still get paid a little bit. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And Ben & Jerry's, the train wreck of an interview they had on Axios, and also the super cringy NASA video featuring Kamala Harris. I'm not sure where to begin. Oh, first things first, before I even get into tonight's topics, before we get into the calls about an hour later, shout out to all my sponsors. Shout out to ABLmerch.com. You guys have been really supporting that website. I really appreciate you guys. I couldn't do any of what I do right here without y'all. So I really, 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 really appreciate you. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go over here right now just so I can show you guys what's happening so we know what's going on. Let's go ahead and cut to this screen here. Again, that's ABLmerch.com. There we go, right on the screen. So we got hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more. Let's do that over there. Let's try it this way. And put that right there. There we go. So that's me, of course, with a 1776 hat, the same one I got on right now. And then we got just random models wearing the different shirts. We got mugs. We got all types of other shirts. I survived the pandemic. Shout out to y'all who bought that one. That's one of my favorites. More mugs, hats. We got like 2 of them left. I don't even know how many we got left. Is there a stock counter on here? It's like 2 left, literally. Like, getting what they're getting is good because they're going to be gone for a while. With all this shipping and stuff, can I even get anything shipped in? I'm not even really sure, but I have what I have right now. So thank y'all for supporting this store. Again, ABLmerch.com, ABLmerch.com. Check it out right now and use promo code PATRIOT to get 20% off your next order. And also shout out to patriotpost.us, a great source of news and information. Links to them will be in the description box. I put them on the screen right here so you can kind of see what kind of content they have. You got this dude Fauci creating a big mess out of this whole situation. The same thing he did back in the day with the other virus. Throughout all this virus, scandemic, pandemic, hysteria, people forget that there's more than one virus floating around, right? And this dude Fauci had a crack at a different virus back in the day when it was really rampant, when it was really just running around killing people. He dropped the ball back then. I'm not sure how he's been able to be in D.C. for as long as he has been, considering he's been a failure before. I don't really understand why he wouldn't be a failure now. So yeah, patriotpost.us. This is a really good site right here. You got to check it out. Here's a good story about the 4.3 million people who quit their jobs. And I think, what was that? The month of August, 4.3 million people, a record number of people who quit their jobs. There are so many jobs available. I saw a sign at a McDonald's. I'm not sure where this McDonald's was. It wasn't where I live in Tennessee. It was somewhere else. But the McDonald's had a starting pay of $21 per hour at a McDonald's. Why? Hey, man, it's hard to get workers nowadays. It's hard to get workers. And, you know, inflation is happening. Prices are going up. So, hey, we need to be able to pay what people want to get paid, what they will work for. People don't understand the way wages work a lot of time. They think you could just raise wages randomly by force of the federal government. But that's just not how it works. There's a lot of different things that go into what a wage is. Are there enough workers? Are you able to attract people to come to your place? Can you afford it from the things that you sell? Okay. Are they going to do to increase the wages, just increase the price of goods and services? But this is what happens. They can do it. They just raised, what was that? They raised Medicare, Medicaid. I forget what that was. One of these entitlement programs. I think it was Social Security. They raised that. Matter of fact, yeah. They raised SSI benefits by 5.9%. 5.9% beginning next year, 2022. Now, why did they raise it with the largest increase in the past 39 years? Why? It's because everything's costing so much. All the inflation happening. The money that you have, if you've been saving it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, automatically is worth less than it was when you first started. Okay, this is why people buy real estate and things of that nature, to hedge against inflation, things that appreciate in value. That's the way for you to be able to have your money kind of work for you, rather than keeping it in the bank where all it's going to do is just lose money. You know, you got low interest rates. You can never make up the money that you lose in inflation from compounding interest. But I want to go down this mathematician, big brain, 3,000 IQ road. But the whole point is inflation is going through the roof. And I'm kind of getting off the subject of my sponsors. So again, patriotpost.us, shout out to them. And also shout out to bhedesigns.com. They make these beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me. You can get one for yourself that are just like this, or one of your very own, custom made, large, small, medium, whatever you want, through the link in the description box. Again, that is bhedesigns.com. Matter of fact, let's pull them up right quick, just so you know you're in the right spot. Just so you know you're in the right spot. Okay, they got all kind of good flags for you. Here's a custom one right here. It looks similar to the one I have behind me, as far as like the little the slice on one side. One side you had the regular American flag, red, white, and blue. Then on the other side you have like the Gadsden flag, sort of, with the snake and all of that carved out in the wood, handmade. Beautiful flags, right? All kind of custom flags. Again, bhedesigns.com. Link will be in the description box below. Here's a good one right here. The American-Canadian flag mashup. Yeah, very good flags. You can get small. A small size is a 24 by 13. Medium, 36 by 19 and a half. Large is 48 by 26. I have large behind me, 48 by 26. You can also get the extra large, 60 by 32 and a half. That's a big boy right there. You know, that's about, 5 foot tall or wide, whatever you want to say. That's a big boy right there. So shout out to bhedesigns.com. Get your flags today. All right. Let's get into some subject matter here. I was going to speak about the shipping stuff. I'm going to talk about that right quick, actually. That's not really a topic on deck as far as my title or in the description, but the shipping is a really serious thing. I was watching the news, and of course I read news as well, and they say that the typical container coming from, I don't know if it's a container, like one container, or just probably for one container, They were talking about a container cost normally from Shanghai to LA or wherever it's going to go costs $3,000. But now that same container costs $21,000 to $22,000. So if you think that cost won't be reflected as far as inflation is concerned, you're sadly mistaken. If they got to pay that much money to get your good over here from over China, it's going to cost a lot. And you're going to have a lack of availability because some people may not want to get their products over here. It just costs too much. They may not want to spend their capital. They don't want to. They can't raise the cost of what they are selling to a point where it just won't get purchased. So they'll decline the order. It just won't have it. So you're going to have a lack of products on the shelf. If it's got to come from China, Indonesia, Thailand, wherever it's going to come from, it's going to cost a lot of money to get it over here because of the backlog in the shipping. I think what's happening is a variety of factors. First of all, you have a lack of drivers. All right. You got the expansion of the welfare state happening. People don't want to necessarily go out there and do OTR driving. They don't even want to do in town driving where they go every night. Not all you guys that are trucking, a lot of you guys still on the road, still getting your money, but some guys don't want to do it. Say, you know what? I'm out. I'm not going to do it. So you're having a shortage of truckers that are going to be available to do this. And also, there was already kind of a problem there anyway as far as trucking shortages. You got a lot of old guys that are still out there. It's harder to find young guys that want to go do it. They want to get their CDL that aren't necessarily crack smoking and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to get more drivers to replace some of the old dogs in the game. So lack of drivers, first of all. Second of all, there's a high demand for products, for goods. It's a really high demand. So it's a problem with these ports trying to keep up with the demand. Lack of drivers, high demand, and you have just inflation happening. You got all these restrictions and stuff like that. It just creates a situation where there's a bit backlog, and you got these ships just sitting out there off in the coast and the water, just like, okay, when are we going to be able to move in? And it's the same thing happening all over the world, not just LA or, Gulf Coast, United States, all over the world. The same thing's going on right now in China. They're waiting to try and get products. They're just sitting in Shanghai, just twiddling their thumbs like, okay, can we get some stuff? Can we load up? What's going on? You got high prices of the containers. There's a lot of things happening overseas, all over the world. People are being flooded with supply that they can't offload quick enough or they can't supply the ships enough, and the shipping cost is increasing. It's just so much going on that when you try to shop for your Christmas gifts, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle, and I hope that there's still going to be food on the shelves. I mean, because I don't think we're getting a lot of food from Shanghai. I think a lot of our food comes from domestic, but we do get food from other countries. We get Chinese food as well. If you not the Chinese food hood store. I'm talking about sometimes you get, like, for example, tilapia from China. Now, I don't advise you eat tilapia from China. That's probably going to be like eating some dirt off the ground, but I digress. You do get some fruit from China, but I think a lot of our food is grown domestically, although we do get some things from other countries. You get some fruits, vegetables. You get some chicken products sometimes from overseas, fish. You get some of that from different countries, Argentina, Brazil, places like that. But hopefully we have a lot of our food grown domestically. Can you imagine if we relied upon China for a big bulk of our food? Well, we do kind of rely on them a little bit because China owns certain companies. They own Smithfield Foods here in the U.S. Your ham and your sausage and whatnot coming from Virginia, they own that plant. They own the company. So they're going to be the ones kind of in charge of some of your food distribution, even if it doesn't come from mainland China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, or whatever. They still may be in charge of it right here in the U.S. of A. because they own it. Now, somebody may say, oh, it's a private company that happens to have Chinese people, but let's stop playing games. That's like saying TikTok is not owned by the Chinese government because ByteDance owns it. But at the end of the day, any business in China is going to be Chinese owned. Basically, You have government officials sitting on the board like, hey, how are we spending our money? What's going on? How are we really going to be able to, get her done? What's happening? Yeah, so just be careful out there when you're buying your food, and understand that if your son, your daughter want certain little Christmas gifts, hey, you might have to be like, hey, Santa blew a flat on that sleigh. He couldn't really get the gifts from point A to point B. It might be a little bit late. That's just, it is what it is. And then on top of that, on top of the shipping problems, people are saying, get your gifts right now today. October. Don't worry about Black Friday. Ain't gonna be no Black Friday sales. If you get a Black Friday sale, it's gonna be back to what the regular price is gonna be. They may sell some things to you at cost to get you to come and buy other things. Just kind of like how Walmart is in general. They got like a 3.5-4% profit margin at best. You have some that don't even do. They might be at zero pretty much, getting ready to close, but because their average is about 3.5-4%. They could sell some things at almost cost or maybe even lower than cost, because the whole point is to get you in there and buying everything else. It's like a gas station. They could sell their gas to you and that's fine, but that the money is made from the snacks and the goodies and the little drinks and the chips and all that diabetes food in the inside. That's where all the money comes from. All the cigarettes, tobacco, alcohol. That's where they make their money from the junk they sell on the inside, not the gas they sell on the outside. But I digress. Thank you all again for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed what's being said tonight, if you enjoyed the content, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Your man Anthony Fauci, and I think Kamala Harris Boomhauer, talking about no Christmas gifts. I think Fauci said that, oh, we got to see about Christmas. I don't know about Christmas. It's like, look, man. I've not been following what this guy's been saying for a long time. Your man, Anthony Fauci, I've not been following that for a long time. If you're still following Anthony Fauci, I don't understand why. I mean, at a certain point, if you keep getting led in the wrong direction by this blind man, then what are you doing? You have eyes. You're able to see. He's over here just pretty much winging it, throwing darts at the dartboard and making that be how he makes decisions for the day. If you're still following that guy, the question is why? Why follow him? He has a proven track record of not doing well when it comes to public health crisis. So why keep following this man? He's been wrong over and over again. And sometimes the funny part is that sometimes he'll be right and then he'll double down on being wrong, like pretty much removing the right thing that he said. Because right when this pandemic hit, what did he say? You don't need to wear a mask if you're not sick. That's what he said, right? Then it was wear a mask all the time. Wear 2 masks. It's common sense to wear 2 masks, but he just said don't wear a mask at all. So which one is it? It makes no sense. None of this stuff makes sense. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you how much this stuff does not make sense. I found this on the internet. It was a real website. Matter of fact, here it is. This is the Daily Telegraph. And hold on. Here's the headline. I'll put it on the screen. It says, don't freak out. Catching the virus after you are vaccinated improves immunity. I'll say that one more time for the folks in the back, in case you didn't hear me. Catching the virus after you are vaccinated improves immunity. Isn't that what we've been saying the whole time? You have natural immunity, things of that nature. Why must I get the vax, then catch it, and have that be what is used to protect me? Why can't I just get, like, check it out. Like, just follow me for a minute. And here's a subhead. It says, if you were fully vaccinated against the virus, the next step to improve your immunity may be to actually catch the virus. But follow my logic. And if I make sense, let me know. If I don't make sense, let me know. If there are vax mandates and they say that's enough to protect you, then why can't I have already had the virus and have that be enough to protect me? If they're saying both would protect you. When they say both, they're admitting that catching it will help. So if the first one is cool by itself, according to the mandates, the second one should be cool as well. But it's not, because they want to control you. That's all. They want to control you. But maybe it's just me just being paranoid and not wanting to listen to logic. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Right? I don't really quite understand. I don't quite get it. But hey, people are kind of crazy nowadays. Oh, you know what? Okay. I'm going to get to my man Kyrie Irving because it's kind of in the same realm of the vax and that type of stuff that I kind of been on for a minute. But I got to talk about it because what I saw on the internet today was really kind of inexcusable. And I think it kind of points to the ignorance of the general public. And that's why things like vax mandates aren't really that big of a deal to some people. It's just like whatever, right? So check it out. Kyrie Irving, you guys may know, NBA basketball player, star basketball player, has said that he is going to sit out for as long as it takes. He's not going to get the vax. So the team sat him down. The GM, Sean Marks, said that since Kyrie Irving does not want to get the shot and New York City has a vax mandate, he won't be able to play in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. The NBA has no vax mandate. The Nets have no vax mandate, but New York City does. So he wouldn't be able to play 41 games, half of the season, at home. So they said, you know what? Rather than having Kyrie Irving, a superstar player, by the way, he has a contract, a 4-year contract worth $136 million. $136 million. Guaranteed most of it. Anyway, rather than allowing him to play kind of like part-time, because of the New York City mandate, they're going to sit him down. And according to the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, if you miss games due to, I guess they said, a reasonable cause, something like that, you lose 191.6 of your salary for each game you miss. Basically 1% of your salary, which equates to about $380,000 to $400,000. He could lose up to $17 million in 1 year for missing the games due to not wanting to get the vax. $17 million. Now, again, his contract is $136 million over 4 years. So he would still get paid $35 minus 17. So he still makes a pretty good amount of money, 18 and some change, even without playing basketball at all. He put the basketball right on the ground and still make plenty of money, right? But $17 million is nothing to just be like, oh, that's nothing. I got that. And also, this is the last year of his contract. He's eligible to sign an extension with New Jersey this year, which could be the same amount of money. So you're talking about right now, he could lose $17 million. But as far as a contract extension, he could lose $100 million, $200 million, who knows? And he's fairly young. He's like, what, 29, 30? Matter of fact, how old is he? Let's go Kyrie Irving age. Kyrie Irving is 29 years old. He'll be 30 in March of next year. 1992 he was born. So fairly young guy. Still got probably, I say, a good 8 to 9 good more years left in the league. You can make $200-300 million. That's a lot of money to leave on the table because you're standing up for what you believe in. So he has my respect 1,000%. 1,000%. I appreciate that man standing up for what he believes in. Now, you know what would be great is if his teammates, Kevin Durant and James Harden, other superstars, other former MVPs of the league, if they step up and say, you know what, we're not going to play because our teammates not going to play. And it's not even about, do you want the vax, do you not want the vax? It's about the mandate, the forcing. You have no choice in the matter. You see what I'm saying? There's no religious exemption or anything of that nature, right? And that's just what that is. Somebody said something about spreading misinformation and lies. I mean, you can lie. It's not illegal to lie. If you think it's a lie, that's your opinion. You have your opinion and I have mine. That's not, you can't get locked up for that. Freedom of speech says I can say whatever I want and not get locked up. That's what that means. So yes, it is free speech. You may not like it. You may want to dispute it, but that's why you have free speech, to have open dialogue and debate, because somebody may say something that's wrong and then I come and say something that's right. And then those that are on the outside can determine what they want to believe. I was debating a guy today that's an alleged doctor talking about the vaccine prevents transmission. And then I had to hit him with the Rochelle Walensky clip where she says that the vaccine does not prevent transmission. Rochelle Walensky, CDC director. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes doctors are wrong. They say incorrect things. It's not illegal to say something like that. But at the end of the day, the best thing to review the truth is to have open dialogue and discourse and discussion so we get down to the bottom of what's happening. But anyway, I digress. So shout out to Laverne Spicer. She put this tweet out. I'm going to see if I can put it on the screen. And I think the tweet was copied over to this blog site called OnSite. Kind of like the Shade Room, media takeout, kind of a black Instagram site. You know this type. You know the type. So I put it on the screen right here, just so you know that it's not fake or anything, straight from Twitter. All right, and here it is. Now, Laverne Spicer says they let Magic Johnson play basketball with full-blown HIV, but won't let Kyrie Irving play because he won't get a virus shot. And that's facts. That's big-time facts. If you guys don't know, if you're kind of young out there, Magic Johnson caught the bug, the house in Virginia, the real bug back in the 90s, early 90s, toward the end of his career. And once he found out that he had it, he retired immediately, but he came back and played for like another year. And guys were scared. Guys were nervous because you can transmit HIV out on the basketball court without having anything else go on. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So let me just back up. People don't understand anything about viruses. Not all the time. You guys are brilliant. You guys are perfect. You guys understand, but a lot of people just don't get it. This tweet was correct because you could transmit the house in Virginia through sexual contact, through blood-to-blood contact, whether that be through an open cut or a sore or something like that. If you banging needles, what happens is the blood can be trapped in the inside of the needle where it does not hit oxygen so it doesn't die. And when you bang in that needle, you can transmit it that way. You can also transmit the virus through breast milk, if you didn't know. The house in Virginia, not the COVID. I'm talking about the H, the big H. So through sexual intercourse, through blood-to-blood contact, needles, breast milk. When I put that tweet out, people said, that's not true. They're not having sex on the basketball court. It's like, what? Excuse me? You don't know that you could transmit the virus, the H, through blood-to-blood contact? Before Magic had his HIV diagnosis, what they would do is keep on playing if somebody got cut. Because basketball is not a contact sport, but you may have some contact with somebody because it's all kind of elbows flying around. People are jumping and running and catching and arms and nails. You can get scratched up and bleed, and they're not going to stop play for that. Well, at least they didn't stop play for that back in the day, right? But now, if someone gets cut and they're visibly bleeding, they got to stop play. They have to stop play and tend to that open wound. Why? Because it's a health thing. They don't want anybody to have their blood get on somebody and they have an open wound and then any kind of virus to transmit that way. That comes from the Magic era because he had the H on the basketball court because he retired, but he came back and played like another year. He played that entire year with the H or the All-Star game or whatever that was that he played, but he played out there with the H. So he's allowed to play with the H straight up. But Kyrie can't play because he doesn't want to get the vax. And my question is, what's the purpose in getting the vax? It cannot stop transmission. So why? You can still catch it, spread it, and have severe consequences from it. It reduces your chances of having severe consequences, but it does not reduce the rate of transmission, according to Rochelle Walensky, CDC director. So why get it? I thought it was a great thing. But my whole point in mentioning the whole thing about the H, the big H, is that people don't even understand how that spreads. That's been around for the past 40 years. So if you don't understand how the H spreads, how you going to sit here and try to talk to me about this new thing that just came out yesterday? Learn what's happening around you first. Learn that, and then we can expand. Take baby steps. Read, see spot, run. Then graduate to War and Peace. If you can't read words that have more than 3 syllables in them, don't try to go straight to the top and read some, high academic type, level of reading. Don't do it. Don't chase waterfalls. Stick to the creeks and the puddles that you're used to. But anyway, so yeah, the whole thing is dumb. So I support Kyrie Irving 1,000%, and I hope more big guys in the NBA that can afford to do it, and guys that can't afford to do it. I want it to be a united front, because if they come out and say we're not going to get it, that's going to affect some pockets. Big time. You just spent $135 million on one guy, and he can't play, and you're trying to win the championship, and it's not going to happen, and you got a small window. That's a problem. That's a big problem for not just Kyrie Irving's teammates or Kyrie Irving himself, but for the Barclays Center, for the Brooklyn Nets organization, for New York City, the tax revenue, the tax base. Like, to go to LeBron by himself had an economic impact on the entire Cleveland area, maybe even on the state of Ohio, just economically, from all the revenue that he brought in, all the games being sold out, the TV coverage, the tourism, the hotels, restaurants, movie theaters, driving, you name it. All of that was boosted because of LeBron James. There was an actual economic impact, and you got to do that to make a difference, in my humble opinion. So shout out to them. Now, shout out to also Ben and Jerry's. Did you guys see what happened with Ben and Jerry's? They did an interview on Axios with Alexi McCammond. I did a video about her a while ago, but different story. Ben and Jerry's, the actual founders, I think, what are their names? Ben, hold on. I don't want to get their names wrong. So Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield, Jewish guys, obviously. Cohen and Greenfield, you already know what it is. They had announced a boycott of Israel over their policy in so-called Palestine. But the boycott was not really for Israel. It was just for the West Bank and Gaza. Now, my question is, if you got a problem with the so-called Israeli occupation of West Bank and Gaza, why would you boycott West Bank and Gaza? Ain't that where the Palestinians live? So why would you boycott that? It don't make no sense. But anyway, so they were talking about how they didn't like the oppression of the Palestinians or whatever, so they're going to boycott West Bank and Gaza, and they're not going to sell their ice cream there. Well, Alexi McCammond asked the obvious question that anyone would ask in this situation, because if you're going to be one way, then be one way. Don't try to kind of be funny with it. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that clip right quick so I won't just be talking and not getting it 100% right. And again, this is on Axios HBO. Here it is. Now, the caption here is from Michael Dixon. Not sure who that is. He's a pro-Israel lobbyist, apparently. Right? Now, the caption says, car crash interview by Ben & Jerry's co-founders showing why their Israel boycott is wrong-headed, unfair, and yes, discriminatory. No wonder states and customers are dropping them. Unilever ought to act to reverse this and quickly. Now, I don't know if I agree with all that. I just say that it's hypocritical. That's the main thing. I didn't see that word used. But here's the clip from Axios HBO. Let me get some sound.
Israeli government policy, why not just stop?
Start from the top.
Disagree with the Israeli government policy, why not just stop sales completely?
Well, I disagree with the U.S. policy. We couldn't stop selling in the U.S. I think it's fine to be involved with a country, to be a citizen of a country, and to protest some of the country's actions. And that's essentially what we're doing in terms of Israel. We hugely support Israel's right to exist, but we are against a particular policy.
You guys are big proponents of voting rights. Why do you still sell ice cream in Georgia? Texas, abortion bans. Why are you still selling there?
I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting question. I don't know what that would accomplish. We're working on those issues of voting rights and.
Wow.
I don't know. I think you ask a really good question, and I think I'd have to sit down and think about it for a bit.
I mean, talking about a train wreck, good grief. I mean, it's a great question, right? Oh, you want to boycott West Bank and Gaza because of the Israeli policy? Why not boycott Georgia? Why not boycott Texas? Why not? You got all these things because they're on Twitter. They're very active on Twitter. Very active, right? They're talking about, hey, this law is racist against people of color. Talking about the voting law in Georgia. People of color are discriminated by this law. And the abortion, black women can't kill their babies enough. This is racist. You talk all that on Twitter, but then when you right there with this little young lady, Alexa McCammon, hey, why don't you guys want to boycott? Crickets. Oh, I don't know. It's a great question. Sir, how hard is that question? You can't answer it because you know it's hypocritical. It's all about PR. You're not going to give up that big bag of money in Texas. You're not giving that up. Okay, I've seen enough 600-pound life episodes in Texas and all over the U.S., but in Texas, they have a whole Ben and Jerry's, right? A whole Ben and Jerry's. I don't even know. I don't eat ice cream. Is it a pint, a gallon? Like a whole gallon, eating it with a serving spoon. Boom, just punishing it. You're not giving that up. You're not giving up feeding the diabetes in Texas and Georgia and everywhere else in the country. You're not giving that up. So all this virtue signaling, I'm boycotting. No, you're not. You're not. You say certain things on the internet because it looks good and you want to cater to that base and you want to be in these parties in the scene in Hollywood and DC and stuff like that. You want to make yourself feel good. You and your partner or whatever, y'all want to make yourselves feel good and your friends and your family. But when it comes to getting that bag, it's something different. It's something totally different. Al Gore, another one. Climate change. First it was acid rain and all kind of other nonsense like that. Global cooling. Now it's climate change and all kind of, they went from acid rain, ozone layer. Remember Captain Planet? I'm showing my age. Captain Planet. Remember that? Oh, we got to save the ozone layer. It's getting big. They'll talk about that no more. No more. Amazon rainforest burning down. They don't mention that no more. They mentioned that for like 6 months back, a while back, and then it was gone. It was so weird. It just talk about sea level rise. That's a new thing now. Sea level rising. So if it floods in a place where it always floods, and it has always flooded for the past 200 years, right on the coast of the U.S., they say, oh well, that's an example of sea level rise and global warming. This dude Al Gore lives in a crazy big estate. Matter of fact, can I pull it up right quick? Hold on. Al Gore lives in a crazy big estate with ridiculous carbon footprint. Hold on. Let me see if I can find that right quick. And here we go. This is a funny article from The Guardian. It says, an inconvenient truth. Eco-warrior Al Gore's bloated gas and electricity bills. So that's his house right there. Looks very nice. Big crazy fireplace. I wonder how much CO2 that burns. But anyway, or emits, pardon me. Household consumption 20 times national average. Supporters claim smear campaign after Oscars win. This was in 2007, so quite a while ago. But I'm sure that he's not really reduced that carbon footprint since then. Al Gore's been a climate warrior since the 90s, even before that. So this ain't nothing new. He's made a whole career off of being a DC political and a climate lobbyist. That's just really what it is, right? Okay, so check it out. Back between 2005 and 2006, a long time ago, a lot of you guys might not even been born back then, all right? Shout out to all the youngers out there watching. between 2005 and 2006, he spent between 16,200 kilowatts a month to 18,400 kilowatt hours a month. In addition, he spent an average of $1,080 a month on natural gas. Combined, his electricity and gas bills reached almost $30,000 in 0506. So how much is that going to be now? A lot more. They're talking about gas is going to go up, and you might have a 50% higher bill, 100% higher bill because of supply chain shortages. And that's not even a supply chain shortage caused by lack of labor necessarily. It's because Joe Biden is not wanting to build pipelines that have already been planned and getting ready to roll out. You don't want to build pipelines here, not only Keystone XL, but other pipelines around the country. So the green energy lobby then approached them and said, "Nah, you can't have these pipelines, but we can give a pipeline to Russia, to Germany. They get one, but we don't." And the same pollution, quote unquote pollution, will go right up in the same sky that we all use. The same earth, the same atmosphere, the same all of that will come right here. They say 30% of California's pollution comes from China. 30%. So all we're going to do is offshore that to China, have it come right back to us. It's the dumbest thing in the world. The dumbest thing. Right up in the sky and right across the water and right in the water as well. It's so silly. So yeah, 30 racks. Imagine spending $30,000 15 years ago on your utility bill. But you want to talk about me being some type of, I have a big carbon footprint. I might spend $100, on my gas bill for, a month, maybe if it's cold. But $30,000, can you imagine spending that much on gas and electricity? But anyway, these people are charlatans. They don't really believe what they say. They'll tell you that, but they live a whole different lifestyle than you do. Rules for thee, but never for me. I do what I want. Y'all gotta just follow the rules, follow the protocols that I don't follow myself. That's how that whole thing goes. All right. So yeah, shout out to Acid Rain, shout out to the ozone layer, and shout out to Al Gore spending 30 racks on his electricity and gas, talking about you got to spend next to nothing and live pretty much like you're homeless in a shack to have a smaller carbon footprint. But anyway, shout out to my guys over at Southwest. Hey, this was crazy. I think there's still flight delays right now on Wednesday, October, the 13th, 2021, from what started back on Friday. What was that? October the 8th? Yeah. So basically, I guess it was a quote unquote organized sick out, but not really an organized sick out. From the air traffic controllers in Jacksonville, Florida. I think that's where it started. If I'm wrong about that, right about that, y'all let me know in the comments. So air traffic control said, okay, we're not coming in. We're against the vax mandate. We're not going to come in. So now all of a sudden, you can't get planes up in the sky because of no air traffic control. Uh-oh. Other people are calling out as well. Pilots might be, I think pilots are next. They're going to call out. But I think first was air traffic control. No planes in the sky because you can't control them through, air traffic control. So, okay, we're going to have thousands of people stranded, scrambling, trying to get from point A to point B, can't get there. Hey, I feel for those that cannot get to where they had to go. But at a certain point, you got to stand for something. Stand for something or you're going to fall for whatever. And I'm glad they did that. And send a message that they could do that again if they want to. They most certainly can. It just started because that was just one airline. And it was funny. They're talking about, what they say? The CEO came out talking about, well, before the CEO said something, Southwest put out a statement talking about, it was the weather and staffing issues. Why mention the weather? Why do that? The weather did not have an impact on the staffing problem on the delays because they said 28% of Southwest Airlines flights on the weekend had been canceled. 28%. The next highest cancellation rate was Allegiant and Spirit, respectively, with 5 and 4% of their flights canceled. So why, if it was about weather, was Southwest the only one that was interrupted, but at that rate, 28%, with the next highest being 5%? It doesn't make any sense. Obviously, the weather wasn't the problem because, again, we're all here on the same planet, on the same earth. And if you're talking about a U.S. airline and other U.S. airlines, we're operating in the same airspace. So I'm not really trying to hear it. I was in New York at their airport, which sucks, by the way. What was that, LaGuardia? With one takeoff. But anyway, you were seeing planes from every airline taking off, one after the other. You know, line up, taking off. Boom. Okay, next. It's like an assembly line of planes taking off. It was crazy to see. All different airlines. So if there was a weather problem right there at LaGuardia, they all would have been grounded, not just one airline. That whole thing is dumb. They'll tell you anything and say, go ahead and believe that. You could go outside. It could be sunshine with no clouds in the sky, and they'll say it's a torrential downpour. Go inside. Tornadoes on the way. Dumb stuff. But yeah, shout out to Southwest. And this is only the beginning. You're going to see pilots. You're going to see baggage claim, flight attendants. People don't understand really how fragile this whole system is. Everything's got to work perfectly in unison. If one group decides we're not going to come in, it ruins the whole operation. You can't fly a plane without your pilot, obviously, or baggage claim, your baggage guys, or your flight attendants, or air traffic control. Everything's got to be on point. Your mechanics got to be there. Everybody's got to do their part. The team has to be there to make the whole situation operate. And if they aren't, then it's just not going to work. It's just not going to happen. And I support that. Because, again, if you want to get the facts, go ahead. Your body, your choice. But I don't want to get it. That's my choice. That is my choice. And I should be able to have that choice, period. Period, point blank. All right, hold on. Let me see here. So thank y'all again for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you enjoy what you're hearing so far, go ahead and get the video a thumbs up. Also, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Oh, yeah, the truckers are not hauling. Yeah, you're right about that, Paul 48. The truckers still kind of, they're saying we're not going to do this. At a certain point, when you see all these strikes that are happening from the airports, from the truckers, trains. I'm hearing about Amtrak. They might do something. When you can't get people from point A to point B, you can't get goods from point A to point B, and it's all because of the vax mandate. At a certain point, something's got to give. And also, Jen Psaki admitted, and I may do a video about this, matter of fact, Jen Psaki admitted that there is no actual mandate on private business. And there is a mandate, obviously, on federal businesses, but not on private ones. Matter of fact, can I find it right quick? Give me 1 second. This is Jen Psaki at, the press briefing. I think, hold on, let me get it right here. Here's the article. Let me pull it up. Let's put it right on the screen. And this is on trendingpolitics.com. Let's roll the video right quick.
Rather than having the immediate effect.
I'm sorry about that. It's not my fault. Blame the white man. Hold on. Let's get the sound together first before we do something crazy. I got headphones too, so if you're wearing headphones, RIP, just like I'm RIP'd.
Josh, these requirements are promulgated by federal law. So when the president announced his vaccine mandates for businesses, that, of course, we're waiting on OSHA regulations for as a next step.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Did you hear that? Did you catch it? You got to have a sharp ear to catch something like that. But let's roll that back one more time. Minus all the loud noises. Sorry for that yet again. But pay close attention to what she's saying so you can hear that this mandate thing is not really on the books yet. It's nothing at all. It's just talk. It's statements. It's just press releases.
Rather than having the immediate effect.
Well, Josh, these requirements are promulgated by federal law. So when the president announced his vaccine mandates for businesses, that, of course, we're waiting on OSHA regulations for as a next step.
Okay, so what she said was there's federal law, as far as the vax mandate, which is what I said earlier. If you're in the military or you work for the federales, you got to get the vax because they can mandate that from the federals to the federals from the federal level. But as far as private business and the whole thing about if you have more than 100 employees, they got to get vax or get the test. They're still waiting on OSHA for the next step on that, which means it's a plan. It's a hope. It's a wish. It's a dream. It's not a law at all. It's just you're just putting it out there to see what's going to stick.
That was pursuant to federal law and the implementation of federal law because it's an executive order. So our intention is to implement and continue to work to implement these requirements across the country, including in the states where there are attempts to oppose them. I will say, since you gave me the opportunity.
So basically, they're trying to make this be a law, although it's not right now. It's nothing right now. It's not even, an EO they can actually execute on the states. Because check it out. Certain states like Florida say that you can't have a vax mandate. I think Texas as well. There is no vax mandate in these states. So the federales can't override that because there is no federal law. And at a certain point, states have rights as well. But the key is that there is no federal law mandating the vax on private business. That's the key. And what they announced was vax or weekly testing, not just get the vax. So when somebody says, oh, it's a mandate. So like, prime example, if your job says, well, the federal government, they're trying to blame them for the mandate, be like, nope, there ain't no law. Show me the law. Show me the EO that applies to us. It ain't there. It doesn't exist. It does not exist, period. Period, point blank. So if they fire you, matter of fact, if they bring it up, don't allow them to coerce you to quit. Don't do that. Get fired. If you don't want to do it and you stomp down in your conviction and your beliefs, get fired and then pursue legal action afterward. Because now that could be a potential civil rights violation. They could be discriminating against you for medical reasons. That could be a lawsuit right there. Now, I'm not necessarily the guy that says sue everybody, be sue happy and litigious, but at a certain point, you got to be able to fight fire here. You can't just, we have a legal system. I say utilize it. Don't get unfairly targeted by this rule, quote unquote, that does not exist. As a matter of fact, here's what the CEO of Southwest said, which again, it can't be true because this mandate does not exist. Maybe he's getting ready for a potential mandate, but it's not here right now. Check it out.
I've never been in favor of corporations imposing.
Start from the top.
I've never been in favor of corporations imposing that kind of a mandate. I'm not in favor of that, never have been. But the executive order from President Biden mandates that all federal employees and then all federal contractors, which covers all the major airlines, have to have a mandate, a vaccine in place by December the 8th. So we're working through that.
So Southwest, now somebody tell me this. Southwest does have some federal contract work, but it's like 3% of their business. So if 3% of your business is federal work, are you a federal contractor as an entire business? Does that 3% of your work mean that you're going to be under the control of the federal government completely, the way that a federal employee would be? Are you a federal employee at that point? Like, how does that really work? Or are you still a private business? Wouldn't that be contract work? So how does that, I'm not really sure how that whole thing works. But regardless of what's going on, as a private business, the law does not apply to them. I would sue. And I think this is going to be a problem with Southwest because they're headquartered in Texas, if I'm not mistaken, and they just passed the anti-vax mandate thing in Texas. So we're going to see. That's why I support guys like Kyrie and other people where it seems like all the odds are against them, things don't look good. They're still persevering. They're still going forward because they know that this is going to be a fight. It ain't just going to happen overnight. It's going to be a fight, and you got to be able to battle. So shout out to everybody that's still in that fight. And hey, Southwest Airlines is going to be weird. It's going to be weird. You're right about that. Big Mo says, so businesses are mandating for basically possibly nothing? Yes. They're mandating for possibly nothing. That's correct. 100% correct. All right. And did we get everything I wanted to get to before we get to the supers? Hold on. Southwest, Texas. Oh, I got a few more I could get to. I don't want to, spend too much time right here. The Texas shooter was crazy. Did you guys see what happened with the Texas shooter? Okay. Now, I wasn't here. I don't think I was here on Saturday to talk about this guy. So the Texas school shooter, 18-year-old black male, went into the school with a gun. His own school, his own high school in Arlington, Texas. That's in the Dallas area. It's in between Dallas and Fort Worth. It's not Dallas. A lot of you guys wanted me to say that. It's not Dallas or Fort Worth. It's Arlington. But it's right there in that area. But anyway, so the kid coming from a nice area, nice school, brings a gun to school to allegedly confront bullies that had been messing with him. So he shoots not one, not two, not three, but 4 people, including, I think, maybe 1 or 2 teachers and students. A 15-year-old is in a coma right now, could die. He's in an induced coma. A teacher got shot. I mean, it was crazy. Some are saying that it was justified because they were bullying. Understand this. Just because you're getting bullied doesn't mean you can just shoot people. It's just like you may face bullying in the workplace. Somebody you don't like at the workplace, messing with you, harassing you, or whatever. Is the appropriate action to get your gun and shoot them and kill them or try to kill them and then shoot random people aside from that? Shooting the teacher, shooting your friend. Doesn't mean that's okay. You may understand why it happened, but is it okay though? And furthermore, this whole thing about bullying, you messing with me, all this and that, that's the same reason a lot of these young gangbangers use to produce their weapon and shoot and kill somebody. Oh, they're messing with me, they're bullying me, they messing with my girlfriend, all this and that. There's always some little petty reason to kill somebody. It's the same thing. So I don't have sympathy for the 18-year-old adult. I have no sympathy at all. I don't care, bullying or no bullying. Learn how to fight or step off. Don't bring a pistol to school and kill him. You're going to the hood school forever. You're not coming home. But unfortunately, he is home for now until his trial. When he goes to trial, it's going to be over. But he is out of jail on a bond. Well, I think it was like $75,000 for the bond. Yeah, $75,000 for the bond. He's out. Now, I'm not sure how it is in Texas. Are you paying 10% of that? So $7,500? I don't know. Whatever the case may be, he's out of jail for now on home confinement. Probably got an ankle monitor on his ankle. When he comes home from jail after shooting not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 people inside the school, not outside after school, not in the neighborhood, not on the bus, inside. Kids running, scrambling, barricading doors for hours. Parents had to come get their kids, lining up on the street. Hundreds of cars lining up on the street, come get their kids after being on lockdown for hours to go and find this 18-year-old adult that has shot 4 people inside the school. After he comes home for now until the court date, he gets a welcome home party from his family. A welcome home party. Now, again, I know you may love your child. You feel bad for the whole bullying thing. Okay, great. But a welcome home party? What are you thinking about? What? And then it was just, you know what? I got pictures. Hold on. Now, Warriors for Freedom, we shot 4 people. 4 people got shot. Yep. Now, hold on. I have pictures. And hold on one second. Let me pull this particular article. Give me a minute here. And everybody had smiles on their face. Everybody was really happy that he came back home. Yeah, his mom defended him, of course. That's right, Miss Adams. Mom defended him. Oh, he was getting bullied, all this and that and the third. Okay, here it is. So that's him right there, the shooter. Understand this. He just shot 4 people like 2 days ago when his picture was taken. Look at the family loving him. And I did not put that there as far as these heart emojis. That's what they posted on the social media. Having the party. Fried chicken, fries, Sprite, Solo cups, everything. Everybody got big smiles on their face. Now, I don't know about y'all, but what kind of person has a big cheese-eating grin on their face when they shoot 4 people? Okay, maybe one of them was a bully. How about the other 3? How about the teacher that you shot? Was a teacher a bully too? The 25-year-old teacher, was he a bully? The white guy, was he a bully? Like, I mean, come on. Smiles on their face. Even if you shot a bully, I don't think the first thing for me to do would be hanging out, big smile, everybody's loving it. This kind of behavioral acceptance is what causes a lot of problems in the black community, in these areas where you could just kill people or shoot them or hurt them or whatever, and it's not even a big deal. It's not even seen as a problem. You can have a party afterward. Like, he shouldn't even be home right. He should be under the jail right now, but he's home for a little while having a party. This is not what you do. And even if he comes home and they're trying to console him, why post that online with all these heart emojis and loving embraces? I don't get it. I just don't understand. It's exactly, Lisa. It's the reinforcement. It's the reinforcement all day. I wish I would. Like my mom, my parents, my family members. If I did anything like that, I don't care if I'm being bullied or not. If I did anything close to that, it would never be any kind of. I mean, I'm getting cussed out for getting a bad grade on my report card. If I get a D on my report card, I'm getting cussed out. I shoot 4 people. Ain't gonna be no party. Ain't gonna be no party. The only way that I would get celebrated if I shot people is if I'm at home, it's a home invasion or something like that where I got to defend myself. Bringing a gun to school and shooting a teacher, I have no words. I have no words. Period. I have no words. But hey, that's kind of what's going on. But you know, you're going to get all these, oh, he was a good boy, he didn't do nothing. You're going to get all that. You're going to get all of that. And it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if he was a bully victim, if he was a gangbanger, it'd be the same type of reaction to him coming home. It's crazy. And you know what? The thing about it is, they said, from what I know from the guy Charleston White, the activist out there in Dallas, he was saying that the boy or the man, 18-year-old, went to a private school at first and then went to public to play sports. And it was an awkward transition because he wasn't used to having to fight to defend himself, whatever. I'm like, look, check it out. If you got problems with bullying, then you need to kind of resolve it in some kind of way. You got options. You can just endure it. You can fight back physically, like not bringing the pistol or something like that to kill somebody, but fight back physically, or you can just get out of the school. That's your options. If you fight back physically, maybe you get suspended or something like that, but the bullying will probably come to an end, or it won't be, this thing where you just, it won't be so constant. If you let it endure, it's going to endure. Or if you leave, you could just go somewhere else. You had the resources to be able to leave, but what you don't do is bring your gun and try to kill somebody. Now you're not coming home no more. See, now the bully done won. The bully got you to end your own life. So don't do that. Don't do that. But that's just my humble opinion. This ain't no life coaching advice. I'm just saying. I'm just venting my frustration over the whole situation. You understand? That's all. Yeah, he had money. Number one, he had money. Yep. He had a Dodge Charger, 18 years old. He had a 2018 Dodge Charger that he fled the scene in. He was on Instagram flexing that pistol before he shot the people too. He was on Instagram and he had the pistol in his in the side pocket on his door, showing it. So he wasn't even like It wasn't something that was just like, I'm going to attack my bully. It's, I'm flexing. I got my pistol. I ain't trying to hear this good boy nonsense at all from anybody. And the person he shot was 15 years old. He's 18 and an adult. How'd that work? Anyway. Did I get everything that I wanted to get to? I think I did, except for the whole NASA thing. Did you guys see that cringy NASA video featuring Kamala Harris and them paid actors? That whole thing was crazy. Thank you for tea. That whole thing was crazy with the paid actors because first they were trying to kind of like hide the fact that it was paid actors. Matter of fact, let me pull it up right quick. I'm gonna try to pull this up. They were trying to hide it or not really come out and say what was going on. All right, I'll play a little bit of it. I ain't gonna play the whole thing. You can find it on NASA's YouTube page, and it's ratio to smithereens right now. The ratio is crazy, but I'll play a little bit of it so you get the gist. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's do this right here. All right, there we go.
I just love the idea of exploring the unknown.
Oh, that ain't it. Hold on.
One of the things I'm most excited about. But the other, you guys are gonna see. You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes. Oh my goodness. With your own eyes, I'm telling you, it is gonna be unbelievable. So that's one of the things we can do here too, which makes it one of the things I'm most excited.
So, I mean, the video is about 10 minutes. It's full of cringe, just like that. It was super cringe. And all the kids in the video are child actors, all of them. First, they weren't really trying to say how it happened. They were trying to say, oh, we don't pick the kids in the video, blah, blah, blah. What ended up happening was YouTube.com said that they picked the kids in the video. And the kids had to audition for this role. These ain't kids just from the street out there in D.C. and Southeast somewhere. No. They're from all over the country, probably from a talent agency brought to the White House to engage in this weird NASA Week video. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find the NASA. It's a World Space Week. Pardon me, World Space Week. That's what the video was for. So this is on NASA's official YouTube. Here we go. So as you can see, let me put it on the screen. You may not be able to see it, but the ratio is crazy. It has 2.4 thousand likes and 19,000 dislikes. So not a very well received video at all. And super cringy. You know, my thing, the main thing I saw in the video was that these kids are kind of up there in age. They're like 18, not 18, pardon me, like 12 or 13. But they were talking to them like they were about 5 years old. Do you guys remember when you were in elementary school, if you're right around my age, they had this Channel 1 news, and you had these kids on there reading the news. I'm not sure what the news was. They're talking about real basic stuff, but you would watch that like in your homeroom class. That's kind of the vibe I get from this. Or maybe even like some educational children's show that comes on after your Saturday morning cartoons. That's kind of how this whole thing felt. But these kids are obviously much older than the kids that would be in those commercials or those little educational spots.
Clock, a super accurate atomic clock that sets the time. President of the United States. But she's also the president of the Senate and the head of the Space Council.
Well, welcome, you guys.
So super cringe.
See, you're gonna literally see the craters on the moon.
But yeah, I'm not sure what the purpose of having these. You know what? As I was saying, I think in my video I did about that is it's like the Truman Show, right? You have Joe Biden on the soundstage, like he's at the White House, but he's not. It's like, why? Why not just go to the White House? You're right across the street, allegedly. They said the soundstage that he's on. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find the soundstage. They said the soundstage that he's on is across the street from the White House. So why not just go to the White House? You're right there already. Why make a fake White House to look like what is across the street from where you are? You see this? Remember the whole thing about him getting the booster? So they took a picture And it didn't include the top part where you're able to see the rafters and the ceiling tiles and the lights and the camera, the people with the, the reporters and whatnot with the cameras and the Secret Service right there. Why do this? What's the purpose? This is literally, allegedly, across the street from the White House. Why not just go to the White House? Ain't that what it's for? It's so stupid. It's the dumbest thing in the world. It's a Truman Show. And if you've not seen that movie, please watch it. It was a great movie. And to summarize it for those who have not seen it, basically, it's about a show that a man is in, and without spoiling it, I know it's been on for like 100 years, but I don't want to spoil it because you haven't seen it. It's a show that Jim Carrey, the character he plays, is in. He doesn't know that he's in the show. His whole role is being filmed. There's actors in his life. He doesn't know it, but the whole world is watching. That's kind of what it feels like right now. So yeah, shout out to everybody that's in here watching. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you enjoy what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And we got super chats on deck, and then I'm gonna get to the calls. I'm bringing supers right here. Locked himself out. That's hilarious. And okay. Yeah, I think maybe they want to have everything look so crisp and so-called clean because you're able to get the propaganda out a little bit better that way. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe if there's any kind of imperfection, it's hard to kind of manipulate people. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, it's silly to even try to do something like this. Really silly. All right, let's go ahead and go to the supers. Let me go back to where I'm supposed to be and make sure I got everything I got to have. And we are on October 13th. All right, so let's see here. Shout out to Apple, who says, at Doug Ripley says, you got to do a 4-hour show to make up. I can't do that one, but thank you for the super. Also, we missed you last Saturday, ABL. It's not the same. Hey, man, but I'm back. I try to make all my appointments. Apple also says, Gruden canned for private emails, but Hunter's private laptop filled with evil and corruption is ignored. By the way, Hunter, racist text messages, outrage. Nope, nothing about that. They didn't say a word about that. He didn't get fired or anything over that. But John Gruden getting fired, well, not fired, resigned over some private emails that got leaked. Who knows how they got leaked? I have no idea. And the thing about John Gruden, right quick before we move on, John Gruden, the now former coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, those emails about DeMaurice Smith, the head of the NFLPA, they got released right when there was negotiations going on with DeMaurice Smith to become the head of the NFLPA again. It reminds me of the whole Maria Taylor thing when the when the video and audio of Rachel Nichols came out right during her contract negotiation. The timing couldn't have been no better, right? You're trying to get some more money. Hey, here's my racist coworker saying something about me. Same thing with DeMaurice Smith. Hey, I need to get the votes from all the owners, and the players are having the problem with me. The owners like me. The owners are good with me. John Gruden likes me. All the owners like me. Not the owners, pardon me. All the owners like me. John Gruden may not, but all the owners do. Gruden's a coach. Gruden's not an owner, he's a coach. The players don't like me. So maybe the players put out the audio to make things complicated with trying to get me on. There's all kind of weird stuff going on in the corporate world. But I digress. Apple also says, please pray for January 6th mega patriots unfairly jailed. Also, Christopher Worrell is in solitary in a D.C. jail and has been denied treatment for cancer. Justice system is corrupt and unfair. God bless MAGA patriots. Also, ABL, do you make small talk on planes and elevators? All the time. I'll talk you to death on the plane. I met good people on planes. If you want to talk, I'll talk to you anywhere. But it's weird when people don't want to talk, I just kind of feel like I'll be quiet. But if you want to talk and you kind of approachable like that, I'll talk you to death all day long. If I got time, if I'm kind of moving around, I can't really. But for the most part, I'll talk you to death. Let me see. Apple says Virginia governor race polls show close race. Thoughts? I'm not really sure how close it's going to be. I want for Glenn Youngkin to win, the Republican, but I'm not sure how it's possible because of how far gone Virginia is. Now, I'll tell you this, though. If Glenn Youngkin wins, the Republican, in Virginia, that's a very good sign for 2022. Very good sign. That right there, that'd be that'd be a monumental feat. Because understand this, Virginia is controlled by D.C., basically, essentially. The D.C. metro area extends into Virginia, Northern Virginia past Fredericksburg, all of that. That's pretty much the D.C. metropolitan area. That's a D.C. bedroom. So if D.C. control Virginia goes red, that's huge. Terry McAuliffe, he was already the governor before. People know who he is. And Glenn Youngkin is a newcomer, basically. People don't know who he is. So that'd be a big statement for Virginia to make, to go back to being red. I saw throughout my whole life gradually become blue. It was a long and gradual process. If it goes back the other way now, that's big. Keep an eye on it. Do I think that Glenn Youngkin will win? No. I hope that he does, but I don't have a lot of faith that he will win because of how far Virginia's gone. Just being real. And I'm getting texts from Virginia talking about vote for Youngkin. I've not been in VA since a long time, so I don't really know how I'm getting those. But anyway, the anti-view, thank you for being a member, by the way. The anti-view says, hit the like button for ABL, the best. Thank you. Shout out to Apple, who says, oh, but you know what? Hold on. You're right about that. Are weird things. The parents are upset. The parents are upset right in the place where it counts. Because all these school board meetings and whatnot that have been kind of blowing up, happening right in Fairfax County. That's right in the heart of the DC metro area. Northern Virginia, Fairfax County is the power plant of Virginia, basically. And it's right there on the DC. It's right on the Potomac River. It's right there. So if they're upset about the Ralph Northam, the Democratic Party, and Terry McAuliffe, that could flip the whole situation. Very good point about the parents being upset about the school board meetings and whatnot. And Terry McAuliffe said, "Hey, I'm sick of these parents trying to tell us what to teach their kids. Don't intervene in your own kids' education. Basically, let us handle it. We know more than you do as a parent. Don't worry about it." So when he said that was a big red flag to a lot of parents saying, hey, this guy is not going to allow us to have a say in our own kids' education. Let's not vote for him. Good point. Apple says George Clooney called Trump a knucklehead and womanizer. Clooney had how many girlfriends? Exactly. Also, Biden and Slick Willie total slime balls. Will shipping crisis affect your merch, ABL? I don't think so. There was a slight slowdown in my merch, but it's been improved now. And it didn't last for that long, so I think we'll be okay. But we'll see. I can't call it. I have no idea. I got a lot of my stuff. I have some stuff stocked, but some things you never know. And a lot of things are made over here and not necessarily in China or something like that, but we'll see. Apple says Pope met Pelosi. Such a disgrace by both people. The anti-view says Randy Moss cries about personal emails. I can't talk about Randy because Randy, my family knows Randy Moss, like personally, so I can't talk about Randy. I know what he did, whatever, but I can't talk about Randy. That's too close to home, literally. Caius Posthumous Turnier, thank you for becoming a member. Also, the anti-view says Earth is 3.54 billion years old. Human noted since 2 million. Weather tracking began in 1869. We know a blip of Earth cycles. Just a friendly reminder. Exactly. How can you know all about what's happening with the Earth when we just recently, in relative terms, started tracking what the weather does? We can't know how, and not only the Earth cycle, but the sun. I mean, that if the sun changes at all, the whole solar system becomes changed. Shout out to AN1. AN1 says, catch it after you take that thing that gives you the immunity for more immunity. Yeah, it makes sense. Exactly. The anti-view says everyone has to have the jab. Biden, cough, cough, except every union that gave me millions during the election. Cough, cough, postal, teachers. Exactly. Boom. Boom, boom. Yeah, I cannot talk about Randy because it's like talking about my uncle or something like that. Randy's like very close to my family, extremely close. I'm talking about my mom, his mom. My mom knows his mom. You understand what I'm saying? It's like if my brother was on the news and I was like Chris Cuomo talking about him. What CNN should have done is to say, okay, don't be on the air at all talking about good or bad. When he's involved, stay out of it. All right. But, I mean, that's just where I'm going to say on it. If you don't like it, I can't do nothing about that. Mike Tyson II says, Romans 8:29, Jesus is God Almighty. The anti-view says they are saying Irving is selfish. Look it all up. He has donated so much, including $1.5 million to the WNBA. Shaking my head. Pretty selfish. Exactly. Hold on 1 second. Matter of fact, I have a list of things that Kyrie has done. Let me download this right quick. Hold on. Can I? Just download it right quick and pull it up. Well, that didn't work. Hold on. Matter of fact, I'm going to just read it because my whole situation is being weird. Okay, so Kyrie. Hold on. Can I do this? Let's try it this way. Nah, not that. Never mind. Kyrie bought George Floyd's mom a house, pardon me. Paid tuition for 9 HBCU students. Bought 200 plus kids Christmas presents. Provided $250,000 Thanksgiving meals in New York City. And gave $1.5 million to WNBA players. He did all those things with his money. So, and why is he selfish for not wanting to get the vax that only protects the person who gets the vax? Again, the vaccine does not prevent transmission at all, period, point blank. 0%. It doesn't. So how is that being selfish? It doesn't make any sense. People got to stop saying things that don't make sense. Byron 8899 says, what are your thoughts on a new California law takes effect on 2024, signed by Newsom, which requires large retailers to have gender-neutral toy sections? That's so dumb. When I was a kid, I loved toys. I loved going to the toy store, even if I couldn't buy the toys, shop around. And I stayed away from the girl section. When I'm 6, 7 years old, I knew that I didn't want the girl toys. I don't want Barbies. I don't want all this pink stuff. I didn't want it. I wanted X-Men, Tonka trucks. I wanted the boy stuff. So what's the purpose in having all this stuff mixed together? To me, it comes off as cheap. Like it's just throwing everything in one pile. They don't even really care about presentation and everything separated. So I would not like that if I was a kid to have these toy sections become gender neutral. And I think it's also a way to try and manipulate little kids thinking that this is the same thing. Like a Barbie doll is the equivalent to a Tonka truck when it's not. Little kids understand this. When I was a kid, I understood that. My mom didn't need to tell me about a Barbie doll versus a X-Men figure. I knew right away. I knew that because it's at a certain point, a boy is a boy, regardless of what. Period. All right. So let me see. Hold on. Okay. Terrania says, sea level has been rising for hundreds of years. I think we need to preserve our planet, however. Yeah, I mean, the idea of pollution and trying to prevent that is a different discussion than climate change. I agree with not just throwing stuff on the ground, but as far as throwing stuff on the ground, changing the weather, that's where we differ. If you believe that, I'm not saying you do, but anyone that does, if you want to sit here and tell me that throwing things on the ground is going to change the weather, I say you're just full of it. The anti-view says, drive through North Dakota and see the windmill blades not decomposing, sitting in the field at their disposal. Exactly. You can't decompose those. You can't recycle them. They're just going to sit there. The carbon footprint on those is crazy. The pollution on those is crazy. Thank you to Fancy Bottoms, who says, flight attendant here, join us, freedomflyers.org. We are fighting the mandate. It was not the weather. Be prepared. More cancels to happen. God bless. Hey, shout out to you. Thank you for doing what you do. We support you 100%. Go to freedomflyers.org. Matter of fact, let me pull it up right quick. Go to freedomflyers.org. Oh, it's not working. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Okay. U.S. Freedom Flyers, right? Yes, usfreedomflyers.org. That's the one that works. Freedomflyers.org does not work. So let's go to usfreedomflyers.org. Check it out. Check it out. Tim Wesley says, I work in the oil refinery, and if OSHA approved that mandate or whatever, we are forced to get vax, ? We have other things to worry besides the shot. For example, if HF acid, H2S, and etc. Exactly. Yeah, I think if you own an oil refinery, you got more important things to be worried about than this vax, for sure. Thank you to Gypsy Queen for being a member for 11 months, who says, don't get the vax, find workaround. There you go. The anti-view says, I bet they got fried chicken from IKEA for his welcome home party. Oh, wait. Hilarious. Shout out to IKEA for the Juneteenth menu. Funniest thing. L Bookie says, what's your thoughts on let's go Brandon during protests in Rome as a past U.S. embassy? Liberal half mind. I love it. Shout out to Rome for that. Fantastic. Plain Simple Truth says, ABL, appreciate your work, leadership, and friendship. Hey, thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to Leo Mazzino, who says, I like that Sherry Shepherd is used Second Amendment right. I've not seen what she did, so shout out to her. She used Second Amendment right. Thank you to Sergey Bargamtov, who says, welcome to Soviet Union of America. L Bookie says, shout outs to Brandon for the high gas prices in 2021. Quote Brandon, my CPE stocks making me bank all day. Thoughts on Joe, Brandon, and Hunter shared accounts? I have no idea what's going on with that. I'd look into it. Thank you to Low Gold Pro, who says, hey, ABL, Newport News Shipyard has also imposed a vax mandate. You have to be fully vaxxed by December the 8th or be terminated. I'm out. Let's go, Brandon. Hey, man, get fired and sue. You be able to eat, because they're talking about that deadline is a federal deadline, but it ain't going to be no federal law because there ain't none right now. So get fired and get money. Thank you to S4 for the donation. Thank you to Leo Mazzino, who said, shout out to the one kid at the racetrack that said, let's go, Brandon. Thank you to, I'm not going to read this for the donation. Thank you to Joe Ryder 84, who says, do you think Hunter will be prosecuted when the Republicans take the House and Senate? No, I don't think so. The anti-view says, no worries at all, ABL. I understand, no, Randy. Yeah, you understand. You got me. Kelly Degler says, ABL, the Vatican has allowed their guards to deny the vaccine for religious reasons. So what about the rest of their flock? Good question. Thank you to Santo Bartez for being a 17-month member, who says, hit that like button, people. Right on. All right. You got calls on deck, of course. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's go ahead and get on. If you want to get on through Skype, there's an email in the description box. Add me on that. Message me on that. Whatever you can do. Video, call me on that. You can get right here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Let's go ahead and get into it. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And let's go ahead and get her done. I'm getting spam on my jank. That's crazy. Okay. All righty. Can you hear me? You're on the line. 267.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, ABL. So, yeah, I just wanted to I got a quick question. So I'm not trying to get too crazy, so let me know if I'm too crazy for the stream. But so I was watching Dave Smith, and he was talking about how Osama bin Laden, at first, he was a fighter for the Mujahideen forces against the Soviet Union, and he was born in Saudi Arabia. And I looked into it, I Googled it, I don't know if pretty much it is true or not, but apparently those forces were funded by the U.S. and I think China. And like I found out after the fact, like basically he started off as a soldier for the Mujahideen forces, and then like years later he basically starts Al Qaeda or ends up joining Al Qaeda. So I just thought that was odd. Like he kind of started out as a soldier, like kind of funded by the U.S.
I mean, same thing with Saddam Hussein. It's kind of like that. Manuel Noriega, a lot of these guys kind of work with the U.S. and then they end up being an enemy. Then they got to take them out.
Yeah, because I was watching a lot of Ron Paul videos and stuff like that, and it just made me realize, like, even with some Republicans, it's like a lot of them seem to be working for the state in terms of like you don't see anybody trying to advocate for major deregulation like how Ron Paul was. When I come to think of it, like if you think about it, like the state has a lot of stuff like we got federal minimum wage, Medicare, Obamacare, Social Security, welfare, the government interfering in the college market, giving federal loans and grants and stuff like that. I really think we should be considering secession at this point because this state is too bloated. It's too bloated.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of this stuff it's a high cost, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to share a country with people who think that college should be free. Like I still consider the free market to be one of the greatest things that was ever created. And the last thing I need is somebody coming in and interfering with the market, trying to cut out the people who are just starting their business by making a certain commodity free.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But yeah, that's really all I wanted to say. It's a lot of interference in the market at this point. People talking about welfare, stuff like that. That's just one of the things. It's becoming way too much. And I think we just better off cutting, like just splitting apart. Now, I don't know how hard that's going to be. And honestly, I pretty much think if we do, it's just going to be like how the Civil War was. I feel like it's just going to be people, they already want to force people to pay for stuff like college and stuff like that. So I don't think they would have no problem trying to force us to stay together.
I think the main thing would be we already have state governments in place. We need to rely more on state governments rather than the federal government. That's the problem. Too much federal government overreach.
Yeah, it's a good amount of that. But yeah, thanks for answering. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's go to 701. You're the line. Who am I speaking to?
The anti-view. How are you doing, ABL?
I'm well. About yourself?
I'm doing okay. I figure since we're not going to talk about your family, we can talk about mine. Although I will say he's one of the few people that got us close to a Super Bowl here in Minnesota. So I do have a lot of appreciation for him.
Right on.
I just wanted to kind of give you an update and continue my frustration about the arson situation we had. I found out that the guy has had 9 civil commitments with the state of Minnesota.
So what does that mean, civil commitment? Like he was in like a mental institution?
So he was basically committed to the state for his own well-being so that he couldn't make bad decisions. He had somebody that was always with him, kind of like my elderly that I take care of. Mrs. Johnson has dementia and she can't take care of herself. She can't remember to take her pills. She can't remember to take care of herself. Well, he has also been in that situation, but either in a halfway house type situation or in an institution, he never goes to jail because he always says, I have schizophrenia. And then they go, oh, well, we're going to put you at this mental institution, and then you're going to end up doing the same thing. He started all this cycle back in 2007, and it's been across 3 states, Iowa, Minnesota, and North Dakota. His own parents have had a restraining order against him. Like, does he have to kill somebody for this state to finally do something about it? You know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I hope that you have a wonderful night, and if anybody's thinking about calling, you should do it. ABL is a great guy to talk to.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye.
The whole thing is crazy. Now, if you guys don't know, the anti-view call before, she's talking about this guy that had came and he was a nut job, obviously, came from the street and tried to burn their house down. Like, he set like their car on fire and someone, like, it kind of singed their house. It was crazy. It was crazy. And then, you know, I guess some of the laws in Minnesota, you can't just go out there and shoot the person because they may want to charge you. And, you know, trying to get some justice for people that do things like that, it can be hard sometimes when you live in areas where the laws aren't favorable to the victim. Now, if I see you outside my crib trying to do something like that, I mean, I can't confirm or deny what I'm going to do. But I think the laws out here in Tennessee are pretty favorable to the victim of an attack like that, of an arson attack like that. I'll just leave it right there and move to the next call. 815, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 815, hello. Are you speaking? I can't hear you. All right. Going once, going twice. Sorry, 815. I couldn't hear you. I don't know what's going on. But if anybody's calling, please have your ear to the phone, because if you try to, you know, sync it up with the stream, it's going to be a delay. You're not going to be able to hear me. 504 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is Mark from Louisiana.
All righty. What's going on?
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't federal law have to be passed by Congress?
Yes, it does.
So an executive order that Jen Psaki was talking about is not actually a law.
Correct.
Right. I had put it in the chat earlier. It blows my mind that people say the things they say and they don't think about, you know, the truth in it. I don't understand it. She's a representative of the United States government and the White House, and she's coming out and just blatantly lying, saying that an executive order is federal law. I just wanted to put that out there and say it. It drives me crazy.
See, the thing is, they can say things like that because they don't get challenged by the favorable media. That, you know, if it was Trump saying something like that they didn't like, that wasn't the law, they challenge him immediately, right on the spot. They fact check him. But because it's the Biden administration, it's the Biden administration, and they don't want to rock the boat, they'll just let these things kind of slide.
Yeah, it's sad. I pray for this country every day.
Absolutely, same here.
But I appreciate all you do, ABL.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
All righty. Thank you, man.
Yeah, Jen Psaki can say whatever she wants on that podium because she doesn't get challenged by the favorable media. She do whatever she wants to, basically. Right, you on the line speaking to 407.
Hey, ABL, this is Steve calling from Virginia.
All right, what's going on?
Not much. I here working on the ground as usual. I just wanted to call you and thank you for waking me up and let you know that you're making progress out here. And, you know, all your talking points you giving us the tools out here to change people's lives around us and in the community. And I appreciate that.
And no problem, man. It's what I got to do. You know, help everybody else.
Yes, sir. And you're very good at it.
Thank you,
And
man.
that's all I want to say. Now let somebody else get on the line. I appreciate it. You have a good one.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All righty, let's get to some more here. 254 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, good evening, ABL. How you doing?
I'm well. About yourself?
Not too bad, man. Hey, I was just calling into the show, but I wanted to say, hey, I like watching your show, like your policies, like what you think and talk about, and kind of hit you up on a few things that are kind of going on, too. One thing that we kind of have on our side of the world, on Navy side, obviously we kind of got the mandate for us. We all got forced vaccinated, and we have the reason why we kind of had to go on that route for us is mostly just to sit there and say we can sit over there and act and move past this on our side of the world. We can sit over there and say, hey, we reached this hurdle. We don't have to talk about it no more. We can go out and get people to go out there and execute their mission. Sad part is we did lose like some people under that. I saw that my job that I currently have right now, kind of sad seeing people that I had to work with go because, they didn't agree with the vax mandate on their end. So kind of want to get that one out there. I think it's kind of messed up that a lot of people have to experience that situation. We're seeing it with Southwest Airlines. We're seeing it with a lot of companies that are kind of going on around the United States where people are sitting over there saying no. And it's sad that they got to lose their livelihood or they've put in years into companies and they have to lose that. The other one I want to point out, too, is that whole situation I saw with the whole Texas shooter incident. I find that one kind of absurd. I think it's a pretty sad situation. Sitting over there seeing somebody who, same day practically, was able to get out on bail after an incident that occurred. We all know bullying has occurred in schools. We've all seen these situations happen in the past, and it's sad because we've seen it in the media, I want to say, where you have personnel that are white males that are younger, and they go out there, they've been bullied in their past, or they've been bullied there in their time. But when they create an incident such as this, the media blows it up a whole different level. They obviously bring in racial tension into the situation, and kind of not really seeing that right now being broadcasted on the news. Last but not least, I don't know if you ever heard about the incident that occurred in Landale County between that father who had an incident with his daughter. She was in high school or middle school. I can't remember the name of the ages. The father was at a school board meeting talking about what happened to his daughter. She was very young. A trans student ended up molesting and raping her apparently in the bathroom there, and it became a big ordeal, big situation. They ended up arresting the father and started using the whole terminology of fear of domestic terrorism on him. And I thought that was kind of like messed up because there's that whole policy being pushed on that. I'm sorry, the last time I looked around when I heard of real domestic terrorism, we signed us all such things as like, I don't know, Timothy McVeigh, for example, back in the day. So I hate that the word's kind of like diluted now and being thrown around a little bit differently, even though situations are not even that. If parents are concerned and parents want to bring up situations, especially something like this, how can you label something as, as a more extremist level when it's just parents that are actually concerned out there? But anywho, I got to get going soon. Appreciate your show, ABL. Appreciate watching you. I won't be able to watch the rest of this for this evening, but I'm surprised I actually got through in this last little bit of time. So have a good night, man. Love what you do. Godspeed.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Great call. The whole thing about the father that was talking about his daughter that got molested. See, we had been saying these things are possible to happen. When you put, like, there's gendered bathrooms for a reason. It's not just because he wanted to be transphobic or homophobic or whatever kind of phobic. It's not even about that. It's about, this is just nature. This is just human beings. We know how humans are. Now, not all humans are going to be out here trying to do something they shouldn't be doing. We know that. But we know some people are. Some are going to take advantage of this whole gender neutral, trans or whatever to attack women. We know that's going to happen. Or it might put males who are biologically male and not trying to identify as trans or whatever in a weird situation when there's a woman that identifies as male in the male restroom. All this Me Too type stuff going on. It's just too much. Rather than having that go on, let's just have separate restrooms. Okay. Or if it's going to be gender neutral, let it be one stall where you just go in there and lock it behind you so you by yourself. But not in a high school, not with kids. No. This is really simple stuff, but these people, I feel like they're doing it on purpose to make this kind of thing happen for their own sick reasons. You understand what I'm saying? But I'll move on. 910, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Brendan from North Carolina.
All righty, what's happening?
All right, ABL, I'll say long-time listener, but I do got some criticism for you.
All right.
All right. First, the Southwest Fiasco that you talk about in the Kyrie Irving, and it comes back to the vaccine mandate.
Yeah.
Now, I've watched a couple of your videos about you criticizing Southwest for, the vaccine mandate for their employees, and the same thing with the NBA and Kyrie Irving. But I just want to give a little pushback because I don't think they're necessarily wrong in mandating the vaccine.
Why not?
They are a private business.
Okay.
And they have the right to do that.
Well, do they really to mandate a vaccine on somebody? I'm not sure that's correct. Because, because I know one of these mandates got struck down by a judge, so I'm not sure that you're right about that. I think, what was it? American Airlines. I think American Airlines, one of these airlines had their mandate struck down by a judge. So
you're probably correct. They probably got struck down by a judge, but I would say think about it like this: if you were, let's say you were a boss and you ran a company and you required your employees to meet a certain standard, and let's say a vaccine was the standard. What is the government to tell you what to require from your employees or what not to require from them? Now, I'm not saying I agree with, or telling people that I say they have to or they can or cannot have a vaccine or not. All I'm saying is if you're in charge of a company and you tell your employees that they need to meet a certain requirement, either you do or you don't. Like it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? You have the Constitution, you have freedom, you have the right to choose. You have the right to choose to work for this employer or not. If they require a certain requirement, then you need to meet it.
Well, so, you can't just do whatever you want as an employer. There are certain laws you must follow. You can have certain standards, but they must be lawful standards. Okay, you can't say, all right. So, prime example, if you want to hire somebody, they must be of age to hire. Okay, you can't just say, well, I'm a private business. I can just do whatever I want. It's private business. You can't have a 12-year-old in the coal mine. That's illegal. You can't break laws. You can't violate civil rights. You still must follow laws as anyone else would. If you're just a regular person on the street, you got to follow laws. Same thing with a business. You can't do whatever you want as a business. You could say, you know what? I don't want to pay tax. I'm a private business. I don't want to pay tax. Well, guess what? You can't do that. You still got to follow. You still must follow laws, which is why I got it right here on the screen. It says federal judge in Texas halts United Airlines enforcement of employee vaccine mandate. So you still got laws you got to follow. That's all I'm saying. You could do what you want within the law, but you can't violate laws.
Okay, all right. I'm glad you put that on the screen because I'm looking at it right now. Okay, can you?
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I am breaking up. Let me move around because okay. With that said, and I'm just giving you a pushback. I don't want to. I'm going to keep it simple.
No, it's all good.
Can you apply that to anything else? Like, let's say, because I'm not saying it's a form of discrimination, but let's say your employer, he requires you to have a certain college degree or a certain certificate or a certain, you're required to wear, PPE, like you're required to wear a face mask, ear protection. You need this or that. I mean, let's say that's against, or he requires a certain appearance. Like there are certain requirements that you need to have a job. And let's say your job requires a vaccine. I mean, I get it that the law
I mean, it's simple. It's right. It's not even a matter of debating. It's about the law. If the law says it's illegal, then that's really just the bottom line. It's not even nothing else to say.
All I'm saying is I mean, as much as I enjoy freedom and I enjoy, people and business to choose how they want to operate their business. If a business requires a vaccine mandate, then who are we or the government, anybody say that, that's illegal or that business?
I mean, you still have
their employees.
You still must follow laws. We have laws in society. You can't just do whatever you want as a business. Again, you could say, okay, the requirement is you could be 12 years old and work in the coal mine. That's illegal. It's called child labor. You go to jail for that. You can't just do whatever you want. There are certain things you cannot do in society. And as an opinion piece, I think that's violating your personal freedom, especially when you already got hired and that wasn't a requirement when you got hired to have the vaccine. You wouldn't have put the requirement on after the fact. See, that shouldn't be right. But even if you could say, all right, we're just going to change the rules halfway through the game, even if you could say that and that's okay, then it still shouldn't be right because you're talking about what I must have in my body, what I must do to my body. And at a certain point, it's my body, my choice. I should have bodily autonomy when I'm working at a place. So that's why I think that it shouldn't happen. And then beyond what I think and what I believe and how I feel, it is illegal in certain states to do this. And it's not a law from the federales yet to be able to mandate private business to make their employees go out there and get it. Because a lot of these businesses don't want to do it, but they're being forced to by threat of the federales.
Okay, well, which ABL, that brings me back to my next point. If you don't want to meet their requirements, you don't have to work for that company. Like no one, like no one's forcing people to get the vaccines. Like no one's forcing people to work for those companies.
Well, the thing is, at a certain point, you can't just violate laws and whatever just because somebody has a job and they say, okay, I'm gonna violate this law, but so what? You work here. If you want to work here, allow me to violate the law and violate your rights for you to work here. You can't do that. That's the Harvey Weinstein type stuff. You can't do that. It's just not legal. I mean, I understand where you're coming from as far as freedom of the employer, but you have restrictions on you the same as a regular normie in the street does.
Oh, okay. With that said, because you keep bringing up law. Is there a law? I mean, because you brought up what I think Texas, the governor Abbott made an executive order. That once again, that's not a law. That's just
the reason why these companies are having the vax mandates is because of a thing that's not a law from the federal government anyway. So it's not even. I think at a certain point, because I got to get some more calls. I think at a certain point, you have rights as a person. You have a right to some bodily autonomy. And just because you work at a place does not mean they can violate your civil rights and your bodily autonomy, period. But thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
But I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call, man. Hey, I once again, I agree with 90% of the stuff you put out, but this pushback against the private companies doing mandates. That's the only thing I got an issue with. But
thanks for the call.
Hey, I appreciate the call, man. Thanks for taking it. Hey, you have a good night, man.
Same to you. All right. I don't know. What y'all think? Y'all think you could just make somebody take the vax? Should that be a legal thing? How about Harvey Weinstein? How about having that part of the deal? Hey, you want to get in this next movie? You know what you got to do. And I don't want to go down there because we have little babies watching, but you already know what it is. Okay. You know, you have civil rights, coercion, all this unethical stuff you can't do. Let's get to the next one. All righty. Now I'm having you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Bill. This is George from New York.
All righty. What's happening?
I'm great. Thanks for taking my call. I just have a question. I don't know if you are aware of comics, but I heard something about a popular DC character that they turned bisexual. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I saw that. Superman. Superman's son, John Kent. They turned him. They said that he's bisexual now, and they got him on the cover kissing some boy. I mean, you already know what it is. It's about indoctrination. It's about trying to get kids to think that this is a normal thing, a normal way to be. So then these kids grow up and be the way that they want them to be within the comic books.
Right. What do you think about that? I mean, I think it's evil. I mean, I don't know what other word to use for that.
Evil is the correct word to use. Absolutely. And I think it just, it goes to this, sexualization of children, which again, this should be, it shouldn't be legal to do that. I mean, if you can be one of these guys that goes to the penitentiary, that has a whole hard drive full of, illegal stuff with kids. If catch my, I won't say no more, but you understand what I'm talking about. If you can go to jail with that kind of stuff, which you should, by the way, you should get put in front of a firing squad, get the rope, all that stuff. And if you need somebody to fire the firing, I will volunteer. No problem. Get ABL. I'll drive myself to California to do it. But anyway, if that is illegal, if that is illegal, which it should be, then so should all this sexualization of children, the movie Cuties and Superman, and they want to have all this cartoon stuff geared to children. It's sick, it's disgusting, and I hate it.
Right. It's I have another thing to mention, because I know like sometimes people call in and they sort of, when they call in, they have a little bit of a sort of like anxiety about the future. Like I can kind of hear it in their voice, and there's sort of I think you even gotten some callers that are really all about like we need to, I think the last time there was some woman from California or something, she was like, we need to take over the government. And then you kept asking her, okay, so how what do you mean take over the government? And then but my thing is with that is like I understand, like there are people that are very concerned, as am I, like when I kind of woke up. But at the same time, I don't know, I hear that what you're saying is do everything the legal way, but I also wonder, if the people in the higher courts, have been compromised. I mean, how, my questioning is at that point, I mean, I'm not exactly sure how man, meaning people like you and me, can sort of try to sway the culture in a direction that is not currently, at least in America. I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but I live here, so I don't really care about the rest of the world. But to sway it a little bit more into conservative, because I do think that it's like, the overall feeling real quick is just there's a sense of lawlessness. Like people, you literally can bring forth evidence, and maybe people in the higher courts will say, I don't want to look at this right now. It's not important. Let's deal with, people that are Trump supporters, because that's the biggest evil that exists right now. You got all kinds of criminals and illegal stuff going on, but that's not important. We got to deal with the Trump supporters. That's the major issue. So that's my question to you, is if you ever wonder about that, because I do think that there are people in courts that are compromised. They have a different agenda.
So what is your question? Because there was a lot there.
Yeah, it was a lot there, I know. So my thing is, I believe in doing everything legally, doing everything the right way. However, what do you think is the right way to go about swaying the culture in more of a conservative direction? When
I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna answer it because I don't want to forget the question. I think I think what we're doing right now is probably the best way. I mean, if anybody has kids out there, please have your kids be reading whatever they can early to get them in the conservative mind frame, because a lot of the stuff that is out there in the public, because when I was in college, I did some classes in advertising, and one thing my teacher told us back then that always stuck with me is there's a lot of unethical advertising, meaning there's ads that you recognize as ads and you see them as that. But then there's covert advertisement. There's subtle little things they do to kind of adjust you. They do that a lot online as well. So you got to kind of watch that.
Subliminal messaging, stuff like that?
Well, yeah, subliminal stuff. But just sometimes it's just, they try to make you, they try to adjust you in a certain kind of way. They do that online a lot with a lot of these targeted ads. So if your kids are being exposed to any of this, if they're around when you are watching someone, they absorb it. So you have to be really invested into what your kids are watching and what they're reading and what they are listening to. And you got to be able to give them something that would counteract some of the things that they see out in the world that are negative. So I think that's probably the best way if you get kids, and just try to do whatever you can on your part and try to influence others to do the same thing. Because if you don't do it, there's going to be influences out there for these kids to pick up on. And that's how they get your kids brainwashed from an early age. So they grow up to become these 500-pound SJW type people on Netflix.
So 500 pounds. That's crazy.
That's a biggie.
I mean, so basically you're saying like there has to be an entire, because that sounds like kind of a long while, have an entire new generation.
That's how it's done. That's how it's done. It's always like a generational thing. It's never it's never just like something that's done quickly, like in a year or a couple months. Nah, this is 100 years, 200 years. It's a long game that they play.
Oh man!
And it's constant all the time. It's a constant battle.
Okay, so I got to get my mind set for the long game. In other words, this is a whole lifetime. This is not like 4 years.
This is forever. this is really, I think, and to get down to it, even if you're not religious, it's battle between good and evil.
Right.
That's never going to stop.
Right. Yeah, you're right. That's true. Yeah, you're right. It's like a spiritual battle, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, ABL, listen, I really appreciate the show. I think it's awesome. I always look at your channels and when it has updates. And yeah, man, I try to just communicate with other conservative people. I'm in New York, so there's not a lot of us here. Maybe they are, but there's always like crazy people, and which I'm not afraid anymore. I just noticed like I don't have any friends, but that's okay. I kind of like where I'm heading right now. The morality thing. I kind of, I think I like it. So let me stick with that. But anyway, thanks. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, take care.
All right, shout out to the caller. And yeah, somebody said graphic design guy. The Wendy's bow spells mom. Yeah, I noticed that. It's kind of a feel good thing. So when you see the logo, it makes you it's kind of a good feeling it gives you. So you're more likely to find comfort in it, comfort food. So here it is right here. Do you see the MOM in the neckline, right? So you have like the little ruffles right there, and then kind of like the accentuating lines down to what I guess it would be a shirt. So you have the M and then the O right there in the middle, and then the other M, MOM. See, little stuff like that they do. You don't even see it. Now, the things that they do nowadays is you can't even really, it's crazy what they do now. With the targeted ads, it's nuts. It really is. So I think the main thing is just be aware of some things you might not even pick up on, but your kids do, other people do. So just be constantly having the information flow in, the positive information, the good information to counteract some of the negative stuff. All right, let's go. 540, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, Val. This is Hadrian Arco.
All right, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much. I wanted to ask you, where did you get the data for the 3% of Southwest Airlines' revenue as government contracts?
I read that earlier today. I have to find it, but I did read an article today where they said 3% of their revenue. I have to find that, but I did read it today.
Okay, because I went and looked for this too, and there's a database that I looked through called the Federal Procurement Data System. It's essentially the government's log of purchases and contracts. And I looked through it, and the most recent contract, when you search for Southwest Airline or something similar, is from like 2013. And it was for the Department of Veteran Affairs for a contract to move, I think, veterans around from one place to another. And I think the contract was only maybe a couple months long. So, when I read this and I looked through this, I'm like, man, these guys are lying through their teeth like crazy. First, the whole weather thing, and then this.
Right. Yeah. I think one of the main things that they want to try and preserve is their ability to get government money. Because remember, during the whole virus thing where all the airlines are shut down and they lost so much money because they weren't able to operate, they had to get bailed out basically. And Southwest got over $3 billion Would it be $3 billion? So,
and that was grant money too, I think, not even loans.
Yeah, I believe so. So my thing is that could be a problem right there. Maybe they might need some more money. Maybe they didn't get all the money yet. Maybe it's still being doled out. I don't know. So maybe they don't want to rock the boat. So they're trying to play ball with the administration to keep that money flowing.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a really good way of looking at it. The other way I thought was it was probably legal advice, as in if you were ever a contractor, then, forever considered contractor. Therefore, even though your last contract officially was 8 years ago, you're still technically a contractor.
That's a very good point. Yeah, that could be something that they got from legal. Yeah.
Well, that's all I wanted to add for my 2 cents.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for everything you do, man.
No problem.
All right. Peace.
All righty. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, I won't be surprised if they say, okay, you had the contract back in 2013, so you do some work for us. If you're ever going to be linked to us, now you're a government contractor, which is silly. So because we did that work for you, all these years ago, we gotta do whatever you say. When you say jump, we gotta when you say jump, we gotta say how high. All righty, Skype caller, who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, my name is Reed. I'm in South Carolina.
All righty, what's going on?
Oh, hey, I just wanted to ask you about a couple things, like what you were talking about with that caller about how the legality behind the vaccine mandate. I've heard OSHA worker talk about how the mask mandate isn't even legal because it prevents oxygen, and when doctors are required to wear masks, it's only in certain environments when there's air ventilation, and it's only for a certain amount of time. So I don't know if you've heard anything about that.
I've not heard that, but it makes sense to me. It really does, because it's pretty clear that it's going to prevent oxygen from coming in, because they're talking about wearing 2 and 3 masks. So what's the point of wearing 2 and 3 masks if not to prevent droplets from leaving? So if you prevent droplets from leaving, you're also preventing oxygen from coming in. It's obvious, like it's pretty clear that would be the case. So what you're saying makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Okay. And one other thing I wanted to bring up was like I heard you talking on Brandon Tatum's live stream, and you were talking, and he asked like, "Oh, who has crypto?" And you said you had it, and I was just wondering about investments. Like I just got some silver coins, and I think that the price is going to go up eventually, because right now it's at about $25 spot price, which, if anyone doesn't know, the way it works is around the whole world, people pay the same exact price for silver, gold, and stuff like that. The only difference is just a little premium, but that's only like a couple dollars. So it's the same exact price worldwide. But if you look at 40 or 50 years ago, it was double the price back then. And we've been printing a lot of money. So do you think that it's going to go up?
It could. I mean, I really don't know. I that's not really my wheelhouse as far as that kind of thing. I have crypto. I have gold. I have a little bit of silver. I got physical silver too. But I think that I might have to talk to like a stockbroker to really get some professional advice, because I know that certain things are going to go up, but I'm not really that well versed in it to understand. But I will say this: I have the most faith in stocks, and then I think precious metals, physical precious metals, not the SLV on the stock market. I'm talking about physical stuff. I have more faith in that than I do in cryptocurrency, because crypto is not real in my mind. You can make money on it, but you can only make money based upon what someone values it for.
Yeah.
Now, you can say the same thing about stocks and gold, and that's true to a certain extent. But with gold and silver, you have a physical product that you can actually utilize. And with stocks, you have a limited ownership, a limited share of a company that can be valuable, and it's less volatile, in my opinion, than cryptocurrency, especially some of the lesser known crypto. Bitcoin is one that's good, I guess, and Ethereum, but some of the other ones is just like some guy made it up, and is it even going to be a thing you can sell, Yeah,
it's all risky.
Right.
But with the with the stocks, I was invested in stocks a little bit ago, and I was mainly going with like mining. I like uranium, even some like real estate.
Real estate is great. That's what I want to get into, real estate, because that's always going to be there. That's you're talking about land, and that is a good way to invest for sure. Real estate.
Yeah, yeah, but with what I'm asking is like what type of, do you have a specific type of stock that you like? Because I always like the ones that have dividends and stuff like that. Do you have any specific kind?
I mean, you could get dividends on your stock. I have something like that, but I think the main thing would be, again, like speaking to a stockbroker would be better. Somebody that's a professional knows better than I do. I'm just a guy that's kind of like guessing the same way as a regular normie would, because that's what I am, a normie. But
Yeah.
I like stocks that I know are going to be pretty solid, and I try to catch them on the dip. Amazon, Tesla, things like that I know are going to be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good one, man. Bye.
Yeah, real estate definitely is a good investment. I know that. I'm no professional. I cannot give you investment advice right here on this channel. But real estate, that's really where it's at. I know guys making real estate, in my opinion, like if you're flipping houses, things like that, you can make so much money on that investment that you do, and the way that the interest rates are right now and the way the market is. I think it's perfect to go into it right now. If you can get some good prices on some of these properties, some of these bandos, and understand kind of what the neighborhood is like and where it's going, just like what they did in Atlanta, a lot of these older neighborhoods that are now super high priced, that what happens is a lot of times, and a lot of these older hoods that get gentrified, it'll be your gay white couples coming in. Again, no homophobia. I'm just saying what happens. You have a gay white couple, they'll come in, fix it up, live right there in the hood. Some of these latte liberals, they come in there, fix it up, and before you know it, they're going for top dollar, big dollar. Property values raising, Starbucks everywhere. That's how it goes. It's not a race specific thing. Anybody can do it. It just so happens certain races, they understand that more often than others, I guess you would say. Let me get to some more calls. 615 in the line, my speaker to. 615,
hey.
What's going on?
ABL, is that you?
It's me. What's happening?
Okay, you threw me off because I'm watching the show. My bad. What's up, man? It's Boom Boom Boom. How you doing?
Everything's all right, man. What's going on?
Oh man, dude, I just gotta let you know, dude. I took 2 weeks off because for one, I got sick, and two, I went on vacation, man. And man, it's insane that 2 weeks. I had 2 weeks off of social media. I didn't do nothing. I didn't touch the phone. I didn't watch nothing. I didn't watch no shows. I didn't watch you. I didn't watch anybody. And it is insane to come back home to what happens in 2 weeks, dude. Like, it's crazy, man.
You miss so much. It's just like it's like a whole new world opened up to you just in a short period of time.
It is, man. I'm like, what is going on, dude? So check this out. I had to bust out a list. So I'm gonna try to do this as fast as I can, dude. So number one, so we're standing in. We flew Spirit to go. We went to. But by the way, I got good news and bad news. So we flew Spirit Airlines to get to Florida. Had no idea. We're standing in line, dude, for like almost an hour. There's nobody at the ticket counter.
Wow.
People piling up. I'm talking about 150 people, man, piling up at the thing, at the kiosk, and we're all standing around. And shout out to anybody who was in the line. Anybody who was in the line, man. Shout out to anybody who knows who I was or was talking to me at all, because I'm talking to people, and I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? Nobody was working at Spirit for an hour and a half. Next thing you know, one lady shows up, boom, starts getting bags. Then another lady shows up, helps her, starts getting bags. She busts out the whole thing. And all these people that were in line with us was going to, we're asking people, like, hey, man, where you going? Everybody going to Disney. And I'm like, no, man, I'm going to Universal, man. Yeah, I'm going to Universal. So we're all hanging out and stuff. So they bust us through. And as we're running through, trying to hurry up and get to the flight, because now we're going to miss the flight, right?
Right.
What about the lady that was checking our bags to get it on the flight? Took off running and ran down there, and her and the other girl were the same two people to get us into the flight to check everybody's tickets to make sure we get on the plane, man.
Wow.
See people. Insane, dude. So we thought we were gonna be late. So we actually go, we get there, and everything was great, man. I had no idea. I had so much fun. And by the way, the good news is, so I go to Universal Studios. I remember I called you last year with this, but the Dr. Seuss Land was supposed to get canceled. It didn't get canceled. They still got Dr. Seuss Land, so everybody can be happy about that. Dr. Seuss Land is still there. They never canceled it, but it was ridiculous. I had no idea. I actually had so much fun that I did not even know that Facebook and Instagram got shut down. Somebody said it got shut down for a day or something.
It was like
Did
6
you know
hours.
anything about this?
Yeah, it was like 6 hours.
Oh, for real? See, I had no idea, dude. Just having fun, man. Just having a ball, man. Not just living life, man. Breathing, living life. And I'm telling you now, man, we went to Florida, and dude, I'm talking about, check this out, man. Thousands and thousands of people. We're on top of each other. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's having fun. We're all going to Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm talking about thousands of people on top of each other. Nobody wearing a mask. Everybody having fun in Florida, man. It was awesome. It was like living again. It felt like we were 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was good, man. And it was just a good time. But getting there was crazy because we didn't have no kind of. And then my brother, I hit up my brother, and my brother was like, "Hey man, did you know that everybody's going on strike?" And I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" And then he lets me know everybody's striking. And I'm like, damn, no wonder that we couldn't even get here. No wonder they had the same two chicks getting us there. You know, it's insane, man. It's crazy. But I want to touch on two more things as fast as I can. I'll let you go because I know you got more callers. But so make it make sense, man, as fast as I can. One of my best friends that we pretty much grew up together, his brother-in-law got the vaccine, and while I was gone, he died from coronavirus. All right. So now my best friend got jabbed up yesterday because he don't want to die from the coronavirus. So he got the jab. And I said to him, he called me and I freaked out. I'm like, why'd you get the jab, man? Because dude got the jab and dude died anyway. Why are you getting the jab? He said, because I don't want to die. I don't want to die from it. And I'm like, but dude died anyway. He got the jab and he died anyway. Why'd you get it? Man, because I'm scared. All right, man. I don't know. Make it make sense. And then the NFL, I thought that NFL was about dudes hitting each other as hard as they could and trying to get a touchdown, but instead it's about emails from 10 years ago, dudes burning on each other. Come on, man, make it make sense, ABL.
Crazy.
Hey, man, thanks for taking my call, dude. Don't ever take 2 weeks off because this is what's going to happen, man. All hell break loose. Thanks for taking my call, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
See you.
All right. Shout out to Boomhauer for the call. Appreciate him. And thank y'all for being here yet again. If you enjoyed what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Let's get to some more here. Let's go to. All right, Tariq, what's going on?
Hey, man, what's going on? Can you hear me?
I hear you well. Yep.
Yeah, man. You know, it's just what's going on with Kyrie Irving, man. It's tragic, man. You know, because that dude is straight up being forced to take that vaccine, man. It's like vaccine or you ain't making no money. But the only thing is, you know, when you are an ardent, you know, Black Lives Matter supporter, you know, and you are a liberal, you know, this is the stuff that you got to deal with. You know, the problem with some of these liberals who have these regrets is like, were you sleeping? You know, you see how authoritarian liberals are. You see how they force things down your throat. You see how they cancel you. You know what I'm saying? And you guys still vote for them, expecting some type of freedom or some type of respect. You know, Black people's best friends, you know, the white liberal who is our best friends are the ones that's really firing us and censoring us. You know what I mean? Look at Dave Chappelle. I mean, if you look at the political aisles, which political
is coming after him the hardest. You know what I'm saying? But these people complain about cancel culture, just bizarre to me. They complain about it, but when it's time to vote, they vote for the very same people that they complain about. So yeah, I mean, it sucks what's going on with Kyrie Irving. And to be honest, man, if black men, quote unquote, had the solidarity like they keep talking like they do, his whole team should have sat out and not played. Or you know, all the NBA players. But you know, they're not going to take no stand like that. So yeah, I mean, it's sad, but you know, these are the politics that you guys promote. Y'all allow that white liberal to give you, you know, they tell you what to say because they want you as our political representatives because you have a lot of reads, and y'all just read from scripts and then get surprised at what happens afterwards. So yeah, man, that's what I got to say about the Kyrie Irving. And you know, the other thing with Randy Moss, I don't know, did you see him crying?
Yeah, but you know, Randy, that's like a family friend, so I can't really talk about him.
Oh man, it's
yeah, I did see that though, but I'm gonna get a call from my grandma and everything on that one.
Yeah, the only thing, okay. I'm not gonna talk about Randy, man. I respect, man. You know, I'm just gonna say in general, man. If a white man says something, I think it's best for black men to like. You know, I'm not gonna cry on national TV.
Right.
You know, like Don Lemon and I don't know what's that other black guy's name who worked for CNN. You know, the bald dude with the glasses who be crying about Trump all the time. He's just
talking about Van Jones.
Yeah, man, he's such an embarrassment to the race. I mean, I'm trying to talk, but he's such an embarrassment because, you know, these guys, it's like people like Van Jones. It's like, man, when you cry like that, man, it's like, are you seeking sympathy? Because all you're doing is giving the white man power. You know, because I mean, I can just imagine just being a white guy sitting and watching, man, God, these black men cry over everything. Like, it doesn't make us look like men who are to be taken seriously because we're constantly crying over just like our feelings being hurt by another race of man. And it's not gonna if we look at the imagery, no one is gonna really take our input seriously as a collective about what we think and what changes need to be made. It's almost as if they can just say, "Shut up, you N-word," and we'll just. My thing is, man, we should not cry on national TV, man. Like, unless it's something, but if it's like I say, "Shut up, doodoo head," please don't go on national TV and cry about it, man. That's all I'm saying, and that's pretty much all I gotta say, man.
I thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not really the one to be so bent out of shape over what somebody say. I get, you know, the craziest emails and comments all the time. I just kind of rock with it. It ain't really no big deal. So yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys are the best chat in the world. I'll go to some more calls here. All right, 217 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
My name's Joel.
All righty, what's going on?
Not much. Everybody's talking about the Great Reset now, and I wanted to know what your thoughts, because LBJ started the Great Society Act, and I just think it's a continuation of the plan, and I just wanted to know what your thoughts on that were.
Well, I'm not really into looking into what the Great Reset is all about, but I kind of know a little bit about it. I think what you said is right about it being a continuation of the Great Society. And I feel like the end game is to kind of get one world government to just change the way the society operates. And I'm not really sure what the result of that is going to be if they're able to be successful, but I hope that they're not successful.
It just seems to me since after 9/11, they record everybody's phone calls and do all that. And the majority of people will say, well, it doesn't affect me because I have nothing to hide. And fast forward 20 years and look at, where we're at. It's the acceptance of losing our civil liberties slowly but surely. And it's just concerning to me because, I don't think, our children and grandchildren won't know what freedom's really like if we let this stuff continue. And I guess that's my biggest concern.
Yeah, you're right about that for sure.
All right.
Well, thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate it.
All right. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
All right, let's go to. Okay, let's go. All right, Victor, what's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
Last week, I saw a commercial from Chuck Todd show. And the one thing stuck out to me that really resonated with me. He asked a question about the Texas abortion bill. Should we follow the will of the people or the will of the officials about the abortion? And for me, it's neither. We're supposed to follow the facts that exist in reality. And the fact is, the baby is a human being. That's
Correct.
what we should follow.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know why Chuck will ask that type of question. But anyways, I just want to throw that out there.
I mean, it makes sense though, but see, they don't think that a baby is a baby until
Yes.
it's born. But we all know, scientifically speaking, it's just simply not the case.
Yeah. In fact, I debated this one person on this debate app I'm on. They told me that, well, we should have abortion because we should not have these babies in these messed up environments where they're unwanted. I said, okay, well, in that case then, why don't we kill the babies and the children that's in the environment right now so they could stop suffering?
Right.
They asked me, well, who said we should kill them? They're alive. I'm like, exactly.
There you go.
That's the reason why.
That's disconnect right there. Exactly.
Anyway, Shakara Richardson. This happened a long time, and I was unable to bring it up. First, she went after Allison Felix. Then she went after the biggest star, Usain Bolt. Yeah. Recently, someone asked Usain Bolt, and all Usain Bolt said, shut up and practice. You doing all that trash talking motivated the Jamaican women to beat you. Just shut up and practice.
That's it. It should be so simple. Just shut up and practice, get out there, get better, tighten your game up, and then move forward.
Yeah. And she came back and said, well, she was heated about it and said that, I'm going to ignore them. If they want to talk to me instead of going to the media, then they should talk to my face. Something like that. First off, I understand how you feel that if you want the advice to personally and not just out in the media or online. Second, y'all don't even talk like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you don't know him like that. He doesn't know you. He probably doesn't even have your contact. He probably could find it, but y'all not even on that level. Third, even if you don't like how the message is being sent, that's a good message. You should not even shoot that down. You got the best runner of all time trying to help you out. Just because that you don't like the delivery, you want to get rid of it?
It's so silly. I mean, even if you didn't like it, just be quiet. Don't say nothing. Just let it be, because you're not doing yourself any favors by responding negatively. You just dig in the deeper hole.
Exactly. I mean, and I blame the people who called her.
Yeah.
And instead of just telling her that you messed up with the weed thing, they called her, and now they built a monster.
They sure did. They did.
Yeah. The last thing I want to talk about is the big news today that happened in Chicago. Did you hear about it?
Yeah, they arrested the people that killed FBG Duck.
Yeah.
Heard about that.
Boy, and they got him out of Rico too.
Oh man, they going to the penitentiary forever.
Boy, oh boy. I mean, it first off, it should have known that they were happening. You killed probably the biggest celebrity
Yeah.
in Chicago. Then you did it in the Gold Coast, in an area that they don't even want the crime there.
Right.
As long as it was stuck in the projects or in those areas, they probably wouldn't work that hard. But you did it in the Gold Coast where they have Gucci, Louis Vuitton shops, and you commit that crime there.
It's like he might as well just done it right in front of the police station.
Yeah, in broad daylight.
Broad day, yeah.
In broad daylight. Of course, because with that, you really messing with tourist money.
Yeah.
And they're not going to let that happen. And on top of that, I should have known that it was going to come, because one of the people is named Muwap. He's a new rapper, and he's been behind the scenes with King Von when he was alive. He just got done with the tour with Lil Durk, and they arrested him. Yeah, and I've seen throughout the comments for months that said that rumor is that Muwap was part of that hit. On YouTube comments, they were saying that Muwap was part of that hit, and he was one of the people that was arrested. Another person that they didn't arrest is because he committed suicide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And I don't know if you heard of this person named T. Roy. Have you heard of this guy?
No.
Okay, T. Roy, he was King Von's good friend that ended up dying some years ago. That's his little brother. He ended up committing suicide, and he was also another person on the list. I think he committed suicide a couple weeks ago. So kind of let you know that the feds was already on his back, and he probably took himself out.
Because he was about to be over. He was about to go to the penitentiary. He was like, well, I'm not going to go, so I might as well just go ahead and end it now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how, wow. And that right there is probably going to take out O Block for sure. I mean, and they're already, I think the city already put O Block for sale, and now they're getting them on this RICO charge. Sure, they probably want to take it out big time.
That's probably it. It's probably right for that.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, bye.
All right, shout out to my man Victor for the call. Let's get to some more here. 469, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
My name's Christopher.
All righty, what's happening?
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to say, long-time listener, I love your stuff. And I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it on YouTube or not, but it has something to do with the vaccine. If you think the vaccine creates mutations in the virus, it goes after the spike protein, and the spike proteins are the ones that are mutating.
Well, I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure if they do for that particular reason, but what I will say is that I think that the vaccine in general, regardless of the specifics of it, may lead to mutations because of the virus trying to get around it, trying to evade it. I feel like that's like a natural thing to happen. So of course it's going to go on. Now it could also just mutate naturally in the environment. But if you introduce something that's trying to get in the way, of course it'll try to get around it. So that probably causes the mutation.
Awesome. Thank you for your perspective. I love your stuff again, man. Have a great one.
Thank you for the call. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like just, I think that makes sense. A lot of these people that go on television, they'll try to say that it doesn't. But my question would be, where's the evidence that it doesn't? How can anybody say that it didn't, that it won't cause any kind of mutation? Because again, what I know is that a virus will try to get around any kind of anything that's going to impede its progress. All right, let's go to some more here. All righty, 937 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, you got Tom here from Ohio.
All righty, what's happening?
I just wanted to call and let you know that even though I've never met you, you feel like a friend because you're the voice of reason.
Well, thank you.
I got a question for you. What do you think about Tesla moving to Texas?
I think it's great. I think it's great. It's fantastic.
I do too.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk over you, but I think, you got to make a stand sooner or later. And everybody getting taxed to death, moving out one by one, to me, that's just saying, look, we've had enough of this dumb stuff. We're not going to take any more of it.
Absolutely.
And as far as I'm concerned, just by, looking at it from a rational perspective, that right there will just hurt you right in the pocketbook where it counts the most. Because eventually you're not going to be able to whitewash this any longer because you're just going to make a worse situation even more worse. So to me, and your caller, I know I'm kind of jumping back and forth, but your caller earlier about private company, and having the vaccine mandated. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, is Southwest a publicly traded company?
I don't know, but I would assume that they are.
So that would negate being private in my mind. Okay. You're a public company, but even then I tested positive for COVID, and just look at it from my angle, and I got sick for a little bit. I'm still a little bit sick, but my point is, you think I'm getting that stupid shot? No, it's not happening. I just let my body work its way through naturally, build up the antibodies, and go about my business. That's just how it is. If you want to get it, that's fine, but don't force this stuff on me. No, that's not going to happen.
Right, exactly.
And if my business, I work for a very large retailer, not the biggest in the world, just think second biggest, but anyway, if they was I would, and I already had it in my head, I'll let them fire me because I'll get them where it counts in their pocketbook because you can't not do that. You're just infringing on civil liberties, period.
That's right.
And to me, that's just, maybe that's talk from an older guy. I don't know, but I'm not going to just sit there and roll over and go, okay, what did you say? No, that's not happening. That wasn't part of the requirements when I got hired. If I'm not mistaken, my requirement was to show up to work every day and do your job. That's what I get out of that. And just because you're head of you happen to be CEO of a big company, that doesn't mean you're a shot caller. And there are rules you have to follow.
That's right. Absolutely.
and that to me is like, and as far as I know I'm kind of bouncing around here, but it's like when I'm out and I listen to people talk about really just ignorant stuff, and I'm sure you're subjected to the same stuff. I might not like what you say. As a matter of fact, I might hate it, but I guarantee you I will defend your right to say it 100% of the time.
Absolutely. All the time, because that's your right. And I have the right to express my opinion, and we go back and forth. I don't want it to be where it's just only one opinion is permitted. That's totally against what America's all about.
Right. But see, the way I think about it, though, I am finding myself anymore watching what I say, because it depends if you're on more than one person with a different thought, they will play pile up on you.
Right.
And I kind of got to watch what I say, but it's like, I'm not, I'll listen to what you have to say. Why won't you listen to what I have to say without, calling me, playing the card game on me, racist, homophobic, xenophobic, whatever, whatever is in the deck this week. And it just, that just, I think, aggravates me worse than anything now. It's like, I don't know. I watch a lot of things, especially since I've been off having this. But to watch the old stuff with Thomas Sowell and Milton Friedman have a debate with opposing viewpoints and watch how they do it and watch how they have an actual debate where nobody's raising their voice, nobody's shouting. It's not a shouting match. They're just, have opposing viewpoints, but they talk in a rational, constant manner, and maybe we can, talk, it's like talking back and forth, and maybe we can come to a common ground to where we can solve this. I might not agree with what you say on your left side. Well, I might not agree with what you say on your right side, but maybe we can come to some kind of agreement on something. But anymore, it's just, I mean, there's the left and the rest of the devil.
That's right.
If you're not on our side, you are just, you are the spawn of Satan. And it's like, But I like I said, I don't want to digress a lot because I'm notorious for that. But I just wanted to call you and let you know that, I definitely agree with what you have to say. And obviously, I can't wait to see you break 1 million subscribers, because that's going to happen sooner or later.
That's right.
YouTube don't keep fudging the numbers, but anyway. And like I said, that's just my 2 cents. Like I said, I probably didn't really hit the nail on the head with this or that. I kind of went back and forth on stuff, but I just wanted to I'm finally just glad I got in and was able to say, thanks for what you do, and thanks for being the voice of a common person. So, and rational.
Well, I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely, ABL. Have a good night.
Same to you.
Bye.
All right, let's go to some here. Let's go. All righty, 517 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how you doing, ABL?
I'm all right. How about yourself? Okay, I got the background noise going on. Turn it down for me, please.
Yeah, this is Terry Tunes from Michigan.
Say that one more time for me.
How you doing? Terry Tunes, Decker. I'm here.
All righty.
And the guy, yes. I had a question. How come everybody walks around with these masks on, and I mean, some people got to be sick, right? I mean, that have a mask on. Why don't they have any disposal places to get rid of these vile masks? I mean, it seems like your garbage man should be wearing a hazmat suit.
Yeah, you would think so, right? This virus is so deadly and so toxic, and these masks seem to be full of it. Yeah, that makes sense, but apparently it must not be that bad.
Well, the government must not be too badly broken, because I just turned, now you got to be 66 years old plus 2 months in order to collect Social Security. And I just passed it here last week. I got my first check in less than 2 weeks. So that part of the government's working really
Right on.
I can't understand why some brave network don't come out. I mean, not like Fox don't get bought up by Disney, but some new network should come out and just tell the truth about everything that's happening. Who's going to stop them? It's not like it's a federal law to tell the truth.
Right.
You don't have to worry about fact checkers, because it's fact. You don't have to worry about them fact checking it. But I mean, a network like that would get rich in less than a month.
Yeah, it would.
I mean, most of the viewing audience don't even realize, man, over the last 30, 40 years, almost all of our presidents were rich Southerners. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, now that we get a New Yorker for a president, they ostracized him. Now we got a New Englander for a president.
He's pretty much just he's pretty much just a puppet, like a guy in a suit. He, like, the people that voted for him try not to pay him any mind, but if they actually paid him some mind and if he actually mattered, then I think that that whole get up went into work, that whole shtick went into work.
Yeah, well, it don't really work. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it at the moment because there's no power there. Even the guys who are supposed to be in power are jumping the fence every day for a few bucks. I mean, it's a definite fact. Know that politicians, we always knew you could buy a politician, but now they literally got a price tag.
Right.
Yeah, I hate that Nancy Pelosi tells everybody that nobody's above the law. Well, apparently Hunter is.
They do whatever they want. They do whatever they want and then point the finger at other people.
Well, I don't know about a pandemic that never happened before, but any other kind of a RICO operation, if I invented anything that harms people, me and everybody who helped me make it would go to jail.
Yeah, that's normally what would happen.
Well, Fossey was making this drug 2 years ago.
Well,
He got a patent on the damn drug. No wonder he wants to keep it going. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 9th, 15th shot,
Right, exactly. I mean, at a certain point, there's a lot of money to be made. There's a whole big industry behind all this, and that's why they don't want to have some of the natural things that have been around for a long time, things that have been proven to work. They want their own things so they can get money off of it.
Why can't people who are going to get laid off because they won't take the jab, how come they don't get 2 weeks severance pay? Because they know they're going to lay them off because they're not going to take the jab. They're not being fired. They're just being let go. So they should get 2 weeks severance pay.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, they've been walking around these people shot for the last year with a mask on.
Right.
I just think it's crazy. Most of these people ought to move up here to Michigan. We got a town up here for people like that, just outside Ann Arbor called Hell, Michigan. I think they all should go there.
Hey, they might not last too long. It might not be the best place for them. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, there's a place there called Zuki Lake, and they got him a monster. It's supposed to be like Loch Ness Monster. It's a little tiny lake. It's called Zuki Lake. It's a good joke.
Just hop in the lake. There you go.
Have a good one, man.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
One.
Thank you.
Yep. Have a good one. Bye.
All righty. Shout out to everybody that's calling in. You got time for a few more calls. Let's get to some more. 215, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, how's it going?
Everything's all right. How about yourself?
Good. You can hear me loud and clear, correctly? You're not having no issues with hearing me?
I hear you well.
All right. So one thing I wanted to touch on, ABL. So I always wanted to ask you this question, but I kept forgetting. So some people might take it as a silly question, but why do you think since Hillary Clinton feels though Trump stole the election in 2016, why do you think she never ran again and tried to run for 2020?
Well, I think the reason is because she had already run before 2016. I think she ran 2 or 3 times. Because I remember she ran against Obama. Remember that? She lost against Obama, and that's when the whole thing about his birth certificate came out, because I remember watching that. Back in 2008, I remember voting for Obama. Unfortunately, 2008, I was young and dumb, didn't know any better. I was like 24.
Yeah.
And but I remember her campaign put out the fact that he might not necessarily be an American citizen. I like, wait a minute, he's an American. I remember being mad at her team back then in 2008. So she's already been around for a long time. Already tried to run and failed. So I think it was a matter of she didn't want to keep potentially losing, and the fact that she was old as dirt, because during that 2016 campaign, she almost didn't make it. I mean, she could say that the Russians did whatever they did, but at the end of the day, her body was pretty much on its last leg halfway through the race. She was looking like Joe Biden looks right now back then. So I don't think she really thought that she had any faith in her ability to continue on.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, being a president of the United States is a stressful job. Like, notice that all of them go in, and then when they come out, they're either, not saying they're all ugly, but they all have gray hair and just wrinkles all over.
Oh yeah,
Well,
I mean,
they're up in age.
the only one that didn't do that I've seen recently is Trump. Trump looks better that he's not in office anymore because he got back to his normal life. Like a lot of these presidents have been in politics for their whole life. So this is just all that they do. So when they go back to their regular life, it's still more of the same. But Trump is just living his best life, doing whatever going golfing, hanging out, hanging with his grandkids and everything else. He's chilling.
And you know one thing I've loved about it? I've seen this one video. I saw this one video from January 6th, right? This is what they don't show you on the news. So not only was it not a riot, well, it was kind of a riot. People call it a riot. But if you actually look at the video, I saw not only did the cops clearly let those people inside, but the majority of the people, I understand there was some agitators there, but the majority of people that was inside, they were just, you can literally see nothing being broken. Everybody's just walking around, and there's crowds of people. If they, ABL, if they really wanted to take over the Capitol, you're not going to stop 4 million people from taking over an entire building, even if you do have guns. Especially, it's enough of those people where they could have overtook that building without even trying, if they really wanted to. That's how you know the media is hyping all this, the whole January 6th thing up. And they're still talking about it to this very day. That was not an insurrection. That was nothing close to an insurrection. If them people really wanted to take that Capitol, they would have took it. And them little police guards, they wasn't going to stop them people. Let's just, you agree with me or not? Let's just be real. Let's be honest. 4 million people.
Well, I mean, nobody was armed, so it's like, how was that an insurrection? Like the only reason why the media keeps harping on it, they keep harping on it because it's a way for them to try and say, look at these violent anti-American Trump supporters. This is what Trump did. It's a way for them to try to prove their narrative about Trump being a dangerous person, although that's not reality. If they repeat it enough to a lot of these ignorant normies out here, then they'll believe it.
Yeah. And like you said, a lot of people don't do their own research and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, take time out to do a little bit of research. And it's like, I ain't gonna lie, I don't have most time in the world. I don't believe everything I hear, even from Fox News. I don't always believe everything I hear. Like for the most time, like a lot of times when they talk about UFOs sightings and all that stuff, honestly, my personal opinion, I think that's a cover up because the government's doing like drone testing and missile testing and all that stuff. That's just my personal opinion. When they constantly talk about UFOs, I'm like, why do they keep pushing this UFO narrative?
Right.
I think it's just drones and just they're testing stuff, and they don't want the public to know about it, so they try to disregard it as UFO sightings.
Makes sense.
And another thing is, when I was watching the video, I'm like, these people are literally just walking around taking selfies and just waving flags. I'm like, these people, there's no riot. I'm like, where's the riot? I'm not saying there wasn't a riot, but from what I'm seeing, judging by this video, I don't see the riot. And they didn't break into the Capitol. Those guards literally opened the doors and let them walk in. And the guards are standing by the door on each side as those people are walking in. They're waving them in. And I'm not talking about outside. I'm talking about when they were on top of the steps inside the Capitol. They were just walking. They didn't even run in. They were walking in one by one. It was just, I was like, wow, this is the riot.
Exactly. It was no riot.
Exactly. And I encourage a lot of viewers to check out the video. It's called Short DC. It's called DC Short Clips. It's on YouTube. Surprisingly, it's on YouTube, DC Short Clips. You'll see it. Trust me.
All righty, man. Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
Have a nice night, ABL.
Same to you. All righty. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you enjoy what you have heard so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And this podcast, which is what it is, it'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platform tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. That'll be Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, whatever you use. Link for that will be in the description box, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. All right, let's go to, hold on here. Let's go to 630. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 630. Hello.
I'm so sorry. ABL.
Yes.
I have to move away from the TV. So I had a couple quick questions for you.
All right.
Question number one, and it's I was wondering, what do you use for your calling? Like, I mean, like, how do you get that great quality when the people call in?
All right, so I'm gonna try to give you the Cliff Notes version. So what I had first, just to get the calls, I use Skype. So with Skype, I can do two things. First, I have a number that I pretty much lease every 3 months. It's like $18 a month to lease a number. So this 423, I mean not 423, this 434-658-1220, I buy that number every 3 months, and then I have it linked to Skype. So when I open up Skype, you can call that number, and I can see it right over there on the desktop. I can see your number and how long I'm on and all that kind of good stuff. And I can also take video calls that way. And I use a program called OBS to stream. So I can, switch different scenes. I could turn on different stuff in here. But the way that I'm able to have the audio come in is because anything that my desktop is playing, like let's say, for example, I open up YouTube right now and I play a video. They can hear the audio from the video on the stream. If I put it on the screen, they can see it. So all that audio is being pumped in through my mixer. You don't have to have a mixer, but I do because that's how I do it. But before I had a mixer, it was just all desktop audio. And you can see that in your OBS. It'll say desktop audio. You can change it, lower it, or whatever. But it's kind of complicated if you're not really into streaming. But basically, I use Skype, OBS, desktop audio, and my microphone. This is a Shure SM7B, and it's hooked up to a mixer. But before I had my mixer and stuff like that, I just had Audio Technica ATR 2100. It's a USB microphone. So let's say, for example, if you're just a regular guy, you get a laptop, all you would need is the ATR 2100 USB, plug it up to your computer through USB, and then get your Skype, get your phone number, rent that, and then have your OBS set up, and you can operate your stream that way.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was asking because your channel really did inspire me a lot. So I'm trying to do something similar like that as a podcast where people can call in and have open debates. And I was trying to do it like, multiple people at one time and have almost like a group chat.
Well, the best way for that would be to use StreamYard, because with StreamYard it's easy. It's browser based. StreamYard.com. You can sign up. You got a free version and the paid version. With the paid version, you can have your own logo on it. If it's free, you got to put StreamYard's logo on it, and you can invite people. Like, have you ever seen Brandon Tatum's stream where we are on the stream together? Like, that's StreamYard.
Yeah.
You can just invite people to it. It's easy to use. Yeah.
Okay. That's something I was trying to do. But my last question, I'll make it really quick because I know you're an important person. So I was having a debate with a coworker of mine, and he said that pretty much that we would still be going through the same situation even if Trump was in office, the high gas, the high everything, the mandate for the vaccine. He's like, it's already put in place, and I just want to get your personal opinion about that.
About what now? About the vax mandate?
About like this, yeah, about the just pretty much. He said if Trump got elected. And, if he got elected, we would still be having a really horrible economy. We'd still be going through the same situation. And I was trying to debate it and say, no, it's the policies that the Democrats push. And I was just trying to get your personal opinion about that.
Yeah, definitely the policies the Democrats push because, Trump wouldn't have just had all this stuff going on, blocking like all these regulations. Because the main thing that Trump wanted to do when he was the president was, if there was a new regulation that came on the books, take two off. But see, the Biden administration, they keep regulating, and that's preventing the economy from flowing in a natural way. Then all this money they want to print $3.5 trillion. It's just so much money printing, so much inflation going on, so many bad policies, all these mandates that's messing the whole supply chain up, and that's causing a problem with the economy. Trump wouldn't have done that because Trump didn't do that throughout his presidency. Even when the virus hit, he didn't do what the Biden administration are doing right now.
Yeah, that's definitely a fact. I appreciate the advice on the whole setting up my live because I hit 1,000 subscribers now, so I really do appreciate your words of knowledge on that one. Yeah, definitely, man, definitely, and love you, appreciate you. Let's make America great. Let's keep America great. And I'll call in next time.
All right, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it. All right, great call. Okay, I think I got to go to wrap it up right here. Matter of fact, I got time for one more. 972 on the line. Who am I speaking to? Oh, 972 hung up. 918, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yes. Yes, my name is Deborah, and I'm from Oklahoma.
All right, what's going on?
Well, I've just been watching a lot of things lately, and I just have had this weird thought in the back of my mind that somebody may have already come up with, and you may have mentioned it yourself, and I just have missed that. But being from Oklahoma, you know, I was a sophomore in college when the Murrah building was bombed, and that was like for revenge with the ATF and the FBI, correct?
I missed that part. You said what was it? What was revenge from by the FTA? What was that now?
The ATF and the FBI. It was revenge towards the ATF and the FBI for the David Koresh thing, and then what was it? Ruby
Ridge.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, they were trying to. They were trying to get that guy Chipman in there, but that wasn't gonna that wasn't gonna fly because of his past and what he did with that. That definitely wasn't gonna work.
Right, and then now they keep talking about like homegrown terrorists, you know, are the worst threat to national security right now.
It's so silly.
But they're also bringing in a bunch of people, refugees from all these other countries, you know, some from Afghanistan that hopefully, you know, 90% of them, you know, hopefully they're vetted really well and that they were, you know, our allies and helped us over there. And then we don't know who's coming mainly through the southern border right now. So, I mean, it's like they're trying to set us up so that there can be some horrible attack so that we can just go under martial law and they'll keep it that way forever.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I think I'm not even sure they have the plan out that far. I think they're just doing things without really any kind of regard for safety. It's like the whole thing with the border, leaving that wide open, not even really caring about it. It's just silly. It's leaderless behavior.
Okay, so you don't think that there's some sort of ulterior motive behind it for down the road?
I mean,
everything's about control.
There could be.
So
there could be, but
that would be their fall person. You know, they could make another Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah, that could be, but I think that it's really just the bigger thing here is incompetence, and also they might try to get some of these people to come in here and work under the table, work for a low amount of money. But beyond that, I think
they're going to do that.
I think the main thing is incompetence.
Okay. Well, I hope you're right because it's scary.
Right, exactly. Well, I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
Right,
bye-bye.
All righty. So shout out to the caller, and thank you all for being here. Again, you guys are the best audience anywhere on the internets. I'll be back live again on Saturday. Yes, I will. Not missing the show again on Saturday. I'll be back. You guys are the best. If you enjoyed what you heard tonight, please give the video a like. Hit the thumbs up button if you've not done so already. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. Tell your grandmama, your auntie, and everybody else to subscribe as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. We got super chats on that. I'm going to read right quick. I'm going to start with Angel Rivera. Shout out to you. I saw your chat earlier. I'm going to get back to you right quick. Angel says, hey, ABL, I just want to say rest in peace to my brother Joseph, who recently passed. Thanks, ABL, for all your reports. Hey, rest in peace to your brother. You know, I feel for you. Prayers out to you and prayers out to your family as well. Hopefully you're able to, you know, deal with your brother's untimely passing. So RIP to Joseph. And thank you for your donation. I appreciate you. We have a few more supers here. Let me go back to where I left off. Let's see. Thank you to Fauna Faye, who says, matter of fact, Santo Bartez, thank you for being a member 17 months, says, hit the like button, people. Fauna Faye says, LGB, no T. Let's go, Brandon. Dave Chappelle can't get canceled. If you can't handle it, go to the potty before you tinkle on yourself. Hilarious. Butt versus Windshield says, I wish they would put Biden's speech in the bottom of the screen and have Joe sitting there eating ice cream with occasional shouts of, I like the swirly parts from the podium. Way better. Perfect. Shout out to my big X, Y, and Z who says, I have the cooties, think I'm getting a stupid shot. Nope. Shout out to Joe Ryder 84 who says, do you think woke cancel culture will put the rise of the conservative? I'm not sure what you were trying to say. Will it kind of impact it negatively? I'm not really sure. Thank you to Jam 55 who says, what did Robert Downey Jr. say in Tropic Thunder? Oh yeah, never go full Biden. Jam 55 says, they may take our lives, but they will never take our freedom. James Lindbergh says, Trump panicked over the virus because his granddad died of Spanish flu. It was a mistake to overreact. Well, I mean, you could say that, but I think the whole world was really panicking at that point. Nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew what to do at the beginning. Thank you to PJ who says, Ninth Amendment protects the people. Stavros Serentopoulos says, hey, ABL, you make a great attorney. Let's go, Brandon. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Shout out to Lead Attorney. Great YouTube channel. He was in here the other day. Shout out to the Lead Attorney. Thank you to Charles Hunter Jr., 20-month member. I love it, man. Charles Hunter Jr. says, the administrative state started with Woodrow Wilson. Critical theory started in the 1930s with Marcuse and Horkheimer from the Frankfurt School. Marxists do indeed play the long game. Yes, they do. Jan 55 says, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel. Don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty, unquote. There you go. Now, who was that quote attributed to, Jan 55? You gotta let me know that part at the end of it. Jennifer Britt says, Tyson Foods already enforced capitalized the vaccine. This is not what America is supposed to look like. Wake up. Thank you to Sean Havlick who says, do you have any thoughts on Jay Stark dying and the possibility that he was turned in by Coinbase? I have no idea who that is. So I'm just, pardon my ignorance. I don't know what's going on with that. Thank you to Matthew Phillips who says, Alberta got called out this week because his chief medical officer said a 14-year-old virus death with complex pre-existing medical conditions. CityNews.ca then headline, young teen among new virus deaths reported Tuesday. They got called out by the victim's sister who said her brother died of stage 4 cancer, diagnosed last January and tested for the virus 2 days before his death and turned out positive. So basically, the 14-year-old had cancer, and they want to say that he was a virus death. Crazy. Thank you to Steve L, who says ABL's the man. I appreciate that. Matthew also says the 14-year-old's death was a day ago. Thank you to Eunice for the "You're Number One" emoji. I appreciate that. Shout out to Chevy for the donation. Thank you to Sid Dave, who says Tyson Fury is being called a racist for beating Wilder. What should we do about this? Do you see Fury Wilder? Did I see Fury Wilder? Is Fury a racist? I don't see no racism. I mean, at the end of the day, if you lose, you lose. I don't care what color you are, black, white, Puerto Rican, candy stripe. You know, I saw some of that fight. I didn't buy the $80 or whatever that was. I didn't do that. I just saw some of the highlights. I mean, Deontay Wilder is not better than Tyson Fury. That's just it. It's the bottom line. It's skill versus skill. Ain't no racism going on. I wonder who said something silly like that. If you get knocked out with a fist, I mean, and you can't get up, is that racism? I don't know. Shout out to SN Smith 5487 for the donation. Thank you to Butt vs. Windshoot who says, last super chat as always. Hi FBI and NSA. Have a nice night and vote conservative next time. Let's go, Brandon. Thank you to Beef who says just brought some ABL merch. Let's go. And shout out to Brian Phillips who says great show as always. Thank y'all. Thank you. I couldn't do it without you. Shout out to the mods for doing what you do, keeping them trolls in check, keeping the chat nice and clean for the little babies watching. But that'll be a wrap. I'll be back on Saturday here on the channel, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as always. And I'll also be on Brandon Tatum's channel tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. I'll do my videos as normal here on the channel, my pre-recordeds, but I'll be live again tomorrow on B. Tatum's channel, and then I'll be live again here on Saturday. And I'm going to try to get an Instagram live going back up. I just got to find a day to do it. That's all. If I can find a day to do it, I'll do my IG live. We'll get rocking and rolling. But that'll be a wrap. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.